blood red, you're fine.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, good evening.
Hey, David, how are you today?
Doing great.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Susan.
Hi, Susan.
Hello, Susan.
How you doing?
I'm good.
That's
Good
good.
evening.
Hello. Hopefully we're all doing great today.
It's raining here.
First day without rain in a while.
Oh, well, we got it here in Ohio now. Been raining for 2 days.
Whereabouts in Ohio?
North of Dayton.
Okay. I have a lot of people in Cincinnati area.
Is that where you're at?
No, I'm down in Florida.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I moved down here in 72,
Oh,
but my husband's family are all up in Cincinnati.
I see.
What part of Florida? Susan, what part of Florida?
Oh, I'm in Largo.
I'm in Parrish.
Oh, okay. I know Parrish.
There's a lot of you down south. Florida,
Parrish
New Orleans.
really grown in the last 30 years. It was just a little, we would go camping down there at Little Manatee State Park. We'd go into Parrish and it was just a like a 7-Eleven type store. And that's where you bought your bait and stuff. But now it's like any other city.
Yes. Parrish was all farms.
Yeah. They used
Now I
to
bet it's got a Walmart.
up there.
Oh, it's got many Walmarts.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
But it doesn't have a Sears. That used to be the thing that was everywhere.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
And,
Sears just closed their final store, their main store, the first flagship store. They just closed it.
where was that?
I don't remember exactly. I'm thinking somewhere in the mid-east, like Illinois or someplace like that.
Out of Springfield.
It may be. That sounds about right.
Yeah, I remember my parents.
So where it was, I don't just remember, but Springfield sounds about right, and it was the final shutdown. Let me turn on transcripts too. I forgot to turn it on. Okay, transcripts are turned on.
Trace, when you went down over there again, you were cutting out. Breaking up again.
Well, let me turn my camera on and maybe I'll get better reception off of it, or kick to my computer mic.
John Brown just come in.
Hey, Mr. Brown.
You must still be coming in.
I can't turn off my screen from looking only at me. I can't see the rest of you folks. Well,
I went through that last week.
can you go through it again? I didn't catch it last week.
I mean, that happened to me last week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, and
No,
I interrupted Dane. I'm like, hey, somebody get me off the screen. Help.
You're not spotlighted, Eddie, so try top right hand corner where it says view.
Yeah, and I'm doing that, and then when I go back to speaker,
Doesn't like it.
I stay on.
You have to go in the right corner of your own window
Yeah, you want to be on the gallery, Eddie.
and click on those three dots and then and unpin yourself. You've got yourself pinned somehow.
Oh,
That's what I did is I
all right,
unpinned
there we
myself,
go.
yes.
Pin yourself.
All right, a whole lot better. Thank you.
A couple of weeks ago, I found that if you click on your picture accidentally, You pin yourself. I went through about
Ah.
5 minutes, 10 minutes thinking that everything was stuck on me, and I realized, no, it was just my screen was seeing me. I don't think the rest of you saw me all that time.
You know, Jed happened just now. All I'm looking for is this. And you all talking, and I know you can see each other, but because I'm running the second unit that's watching the program, not through this computer. It's catching it differently. A lot of folks come in this evening. Hey, folks, if you're just joining us, in the last early few minutes of this conversation today, the BS session, we were talking about, we're going to introduce, with your approval and your input, a couple of different ways to acknowledge turning and turners. No, I'm sorry, I said it wrong. Turning and members, because we have members that are not turners. We have members that don't show, that don't demonstrate, but they're still members. They're still part of this clique. And we have some great turning. And last week we had a turning shown. I've used a few promos and Facebook and email and all this, and it lit the screen up. It really did.
Was
And it showed us
magnificent.
that- I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, that thing was magnificent.
Oh, yes, yes. So we know what we're talking about. And Brent did this piece and it was beautiful. And I posted it and we got a lot of feedback from folks, and some of the private emails and all I received were like, how can I learn how to do that? And my response is simple: join WWW. That's it. You want to learn how to do this? You want to see this art? You want to see how it's created, how it's held, how it's turned, what the details are, how the finish is. And you can get all that right here. So we are talking, and I got this input from a whole bunch of folks that have been involved in this organization or lack of organization since day one. And we've kind of thrown some notes together this week. And we're going to introduce some programs tonight. And say programs. We're going to identify a couple of possibilities. And then you're going to get to decide or help us decide what to do. Remember, there's no clique that runs this club. There's no priority group. There's no board of directors. No, there's wood turners. We all get together and we turn wood. And that's the bottom line. So we're going to talk about this, taking this entire thing, what I said, two directions: turning of the week and member of the month. And we'll talk about how we're going to select those. And our Facebook master, our Zoom master, Trace, is going to put together some polling to help us. And it's going to take your involvement. It honestly is. But here's the beauty of it. The best work of the week, which is every single piece shown, every single piece that submits a photo to the gallery / website / newsletter portion of the program, every single one goes into a slideshow. So you get to decide what you like out of every single piece. And it doesn't matter who turned it. In fact, you won't see their names. That's one of the proposals. We just want you to judge the work. This is not a personality contest. It's not a contest to award the guy that we all like the most, which is me, but that's okay. This is a contest or a chance to identify the best work. And that's what we're going to do. We'll talk more about this and the possibilities of it. I've got a lot of notes and we're ready to chat tonight and do that. We've got 2 demonstrations this evening lined up for you. 2 demonstrations. Man, we are moving right along. If I can only find my sheet. Walt Wager is going to do something on the sushi part, sushi bowl. And then Kirk Knapp is going to do one on CA finishing tonight. So we have 2 demos lined up tonight. We're still looking for demos, folks. We click when we have a good demonstration in the middle of the program. and we really click when we have 2 demonstrations. In a lot of towns, we've had our advisory team, because it's not a staff, and it's not elected, it's just a team of guys got together. We've had our team members drop in and do an immediate demo right there in their shop with their materials. And we didn't preview this. We didn't rehearse this. We just allowed turners to be turners, and we want you to do it. Brenda, I got to make this count. You are doing awesome videos with technique, really.
Disagree.
Okay, so we agree to disagree, but that's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
When you get a message from Dane, be careful. He wants to put the hook in you.
Good evening, everyone.
Hey, Ronnie.
Hi, Ronnie.
Hi,
Everybody
Ron.
doing?
Good.
Good. Glad you're all here.
Oh, it's getting there. We're getting a good group of folks together to talk wood turning tonight.
Yep, almost
still
50 of us
early.
now.
Good.
So-
Roger called you, Brenda?
Yes, Roger called me, sent
And
me
you,
pictures.
and you got a hunk of wood coming, huh?
No, he just sent me a picture of what he turned.
Oh, I thought he wanted to get a piece of wood to you.
No, he said that, well, he's on here tonight. I seen him come in a little bit ago.
Okay.
He sent me a picture and he says that he likes the way that I see things in people's postings, you know,
Good,
wanted me to see his piece.
good, good.
I found a gecko in his. Yeah, the gecko gecko.
Yeah, he was saying something about that.
Yeah.
Hello, Mr. John.
Hello.
How are you doing, sir? You've been quiet the last couple of weeks.
Well, yes, I've been very busy.
There you
I've
go.
had a couple doctor's appointments for my eye and get shots in them and all of that. And then I'm trying to work up a demo for on here a bit, but my grinder broke down now. I can't sharpen my tools. They're all dull.
Oh, no.
Huh.
And but I'm supposed to get one here this next week, I guess. They're a little hard to get. Some places don't have any because of the shortage of parts, tools, light bulbs, and a whole lot of other things, you know.
Yeah.
And then I repair furniture here at the retirement center where I live. And recently they've had a whole bunch of chairs with wore out slides on the bottom of the legs, and it's tearing up the carpets and the hardwood floors. So I've been replacing the slides on the bottom of chair legs too. So.
Well, that's good. That's keeping you busy,
Oh my, I'm busy. Yes, I'm busy.
keeping you young.
Oh yeah, yeah. But I have a
Glad you're with
hard
us.
time here keeping up with some people. There's a lady here that's probably no more than 4'10". She's 100 years old, and don't get ahead of her in the hall or she'll run over you with her rollator.
Oh, my.
My golly, she runs down the hallway here.
But she might think she's short of time, so she had to keep
Well,
moving.
I hadn't thought of it that way. Some of them are amazing here for the age of them. But that's good. It keeps
Yes.
everybody else thinking, phew, I wish I could do that.
There you go. Hello, Miss Susan.
How you doing, Ronnie?
We're doing good. How about you, ma'am?
I'm doing just peachy keen.
Very good, very good. So, glad to see all of y'all.
Hey, Ronnie,
Yes.
was thinking about you earlier today. Did you ever go back and figure out that finish problem you were having?
I fixed it. I went all the way back down, and then I used water base all the way up, and I never had any more problems. And in fact, I showed it. You must have been sleeping that night.
May have been.
In fact, I have it right over here.
Yeah, I think I saw it. I remembered that, but I thought you were going to go with another piece and try the lacquer business again.
Well, it got hot on me and I got out the shop. And believe it or not, this was the first, today's the first day of autumn and it cooled off for us. It was only about 80 degrees outside and I was outside doing some stuff trying to catch up from this storm and the humidity was down so we could enjoy working.
Sure, sure. Well, glad you got to get in the shop again.
Well, I'm in the
Wow.
shop, but I'm not doing any turning. I'm soon to be though. I got a bunch to turn. I got to get ready for November.
There you go.
So,
Oh, November's when your grandson graduates.
yeah, and
Okay.
I'll post it on Facebook. We got our first letter from him, and believe it or not, he's stating that I can't believe this. He says it's not hard, and the food is good. So what more could you ask for? You know, I'm just kind of blown away. But he was the type of guy that he was ready for what he was going after. You know, he was prepared. So he's doing that, and a friend of his graduated on the 10th, and when his family was there, they got some pictures of my grandson in formation and all, in marching and all. So I posted that on Facebook. So I'm a pretty proud grandpa right now.
Oh,
There you go.
yeah.
Good.
Good for you.
Hey, Ronnie, I was going to ask you, how many ink pens do you need and how many ink pens do you have?
Right now, I think I need about 125, and right now I have 0. So I got to get busy.
No, we got to get busy.
We
Okay.
all got to get busy.
Yeah,
Yes.
right. So,
I've got
I have
a
a
couple
box.
for you. I just ain't sent them yet. Okay, make a
I
couple
have
more
some for
then.
you. I have some for you, Ronnie. I just have to get my driver to bring them over.
there you go. How many do I have in hand? 0. How many I got promised? A whole bunch.
Well,
And
well,
when do
Stan,
you need them by?
Well, he's graduating in November, about the middle of November, so everybody still has time to get busy, including me.
Okay. All right.
I
Hey,
think I
Ron,
have
you
to,
should get a few of them for me on Saturday. Mailman will be picking them up tomorrow
Very good.
on a 2-day priority. So you should get them in Saturday as long as you don't have any porch pirates.
Mhm.
Well, don't worry about sending them priority now. Go the cheapest way you can.
Well, I went with USPS and that's what they gave me. So that's what I sent you.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you very much, but don't go out your way trying to get them here that quick because I still have time.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't, but when I went to USPS website to print up a label, well, that's what showed up. So we clicked on it.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, and thanks to all who's participating.
just so you
You
understand.
said you wanted skinny ones, so you got skinny ones.
There you
Sorry,
go.
Ed.
And just so y'all folks understand that 2-day mail, that's a great label, but it's not a fact. We ship everything for our business in that express mail thing. And I've had orders take 10 days to make it to the destination. Good address and everything. And just,
Yeah.
I don't know, it's. hate
The
to talk
service
about
has
the
really
federal
gone,
government. Pardon?
the service has really gone bad the last few years.
It has. It's, oh, hey, we're gonna leave it alone. I want to say welcome to Rochelle. Is Rochelle in there with us? I don't see your name on a participant list.
I'm down as Rach Taylor.
Okay.
There
well,
I'm on the returning Zoom in the UK with normally with Martin and Michael.
Okay, well, welcome. I'd like to say welcome
Thank
to
you.
you. Right, if you want to talk or show anything, this is the place. So we can do that.
This is it.
Look at my new wardrobe here. Look. That's
I've actually spoke to Doug Miller on Instagram before.
okay.
Howdy.
Oh yeah.
There he is.
There's Doug.
There,
We
Mike.
chatted.
Hey, how you like that? I click back up.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nice. I got this from Gary Bobenhausen out of Corinth, Texas. He said, I couldn't go to SWAT. SWAT will come to me. And that was so nice. It really was. But as cold as my wife keeps this house, I need it most of the time.
Eddie,
Hey,
did he send you any hair along with that?
And here we go. Now it starts.
you do realize that moment of silence had something behind it. Okay, Ronnie, I'll get back at you. Go to Facebook and look me up. And there's a photograph with me with hair and a mustache.
That's
Yeah,
right.
Yep,
I
I've
saw
seen
remember
that.
that.
Yeah, see, some of us don't have to worry about combing our hair to look nice.
No, I do it at the same time I wash my face.
Right. Yep.
I ain't too far from you, gentlemen, so.
Perfect heads, the rest are covered with hair.
I like that too.
Hey, Eddie.
Yeah, hey,
Yes, I have to say it. There's a saying sometimes that you can't have hair and brains too.
Oh,
Whoa.
yeah, you're right. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, David.
Grass don't grow on a busy street.
The damn thing and you eat it.
My
Hey,
number,
Ed,
yes, sir.
I just got done watching Louisiana Outdoors a little while ago.
Oh, Outdoors Louisiana style. I did that 30
Yes.
years ago. Ooh,
Yes, you did. And you had hair.
yes. Wasn't any thinner, but I had hair. I met my wife while I was doing that show. She was the boss's secretary. And she was a formal secretary. I tried to duck past her to go talk to the boss. I mean, the brakes came on. Where you going? It's been like that for 32 years. Hey, while we're chatting here tonight, and this week, Ronnie and I had to get involved in this because a member called us who wanted to get in touch with another member. And when we put this thing together 2 years ago, it was kind of agreement that we won't be doing a membership list. We won't collect emails, phone numbers, any of that. It's a scam proof thing. I don't think you're going to get scammed off of this program, this meeting. I don't, and I'm really hoping you don't. I don't know any other way to get around it except we don't collect them, so we can't give them out. But if you want to contact another member, you can put it in our chat and they can respond. Or, and this is for everybody to do if they wish, put your Facebook page on a contact to our webmaster, our master webmaster, and he will add it to our list of folks on things, how you contact people. And say Brenda's going at turning and such. And Ronnie's got his own site, and so does Charlie and all that. So if you want us to use that site, I don't think you can get scammed on that. I might be wrong. You know how Big Brother's looking over our shoulder. Our mailman's gonna probably throw rocks at us tomorrow because of what we said. But we want to keep it fairly informal and easy to communicate between us. And I promise you, we will never, ever give out the information. I had a phone number for who was asking for what. I didn't give it to him. I emailed or Facebook that guy right there on Facebook while I was still on the phone and said, Brenda wants to talk to you, or you want to talk to Brenda, give me the phone number. And that's how we traded off. So if you want to be in this, let us know, but we won't be doing a membership list unless the vote goes really, really wacko one day and people say we have to live with it. I found that I get probably 20 pieces of email and junk mail a month from a club I used to belong to, a couple of clubs I used to belong to. In fact, I was at one in Washington, DC, and I still get sales things from a guy that has lathe accessories up there. I'm not driving them to get them. He says, you stop by, I'll give you a great deal. We got Dane's with us tonight. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. How y'all doing?
All righty, we have you lined up 2 programs for us tonight, didn't you?
Yes, sir. Walt at the top of the hour, and then followed by Kirk doing some 3508, 3408.
Okay. 2 demos, and he's still taking names. Between us, Dane, pencil in Brenda.
He knows that ain't gonna happen.
Not ink, just pencil it in, because I'm sure we'll be putting indelible.
Well, if I can ever figure out how to get internet in my garage so I can use my iPad or somebody to hold the camera, we can do that. But
okay, I can send you the link to a tripod and iPhone clip that you can get at Amazon of all places, and you can set this thing up. I do, and there's also a bracket that'll go on it for about $5 or $6 that'll hold your iPad, and then when you have those 2, you get this little gizmo, and this is the remote that turns my iOS device, my iPad, or my iPhone, well, either one I pointed out that I have a camera up on. So if I stand back from the camera and I like what I see, because I do, I can just go click and it goes on, and then click and it goes off. And it's handy. And then you take what you put on and go back to the other computer and do an airdrop. That's the cheapest, easiest way to produce these videos.
Eddie,
Yes, sir.
when you're looking in that camera, do you ever see something you like?
Oh,
Air?
Ronnie. He ain't pulling no
Ronnie's
punches.
brutal tonight.
People are on fire tonight. Jeez.
I'm getting him back. I'm getting him back for all week.
hey, Eddie.
I'm still here.
Yeah. So I've tried to download the iMovie on my phone.
Yeah, I'm in the Zoom meetings.
I don't think you can do iMovie on your phone.
That's what
Got it on mine.
You do?
What version phone do you have?
Android.
Oh, iMovie's Apple.
You see the iMovie thing?
Well, it said iMovie for Android.
Oh, it might be.
It wouldn't download on my phone.
Mine came on my phone when I got it, so I don't have to download anything. I got a 12. You might not have enough. Do you have enough storage space for the program?
Yeah, no, I think that's what it said. There was not enough storage or something.
It takes a lot of storage.
Yeah, I do have it on my phone. I didn't know it was there.
You're quite the tech savvy guy.
Yeah.
I was able to send a 3-second video today.
A couple times.
Spoke your whole mind, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Careful. Getting deep in here tonight.
Oh my. Glad I'm barefooted.
You got high waters on too?
No.
Roll them up.
Hey, Eddie.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is John Combs in Alaska. I just have a couple things to bring up, if I may.
Go ahead, please.
I've been making breast cancer pins for breast cancer survivors for probably the last 2 years. And now I want to get involved helping you guys make military pins. And I contacted a local high school that has really a state-of-the-art wood shop. And they're going to help me make all these pens. I just have to provide them the wood, and the school district will provide them with the slimline pens. So that might be an avenue some of you guys might want to take to mass produce some pens.
But that's an avenue we all want to take, because there's there's nobody behind us.
Yep.
And that'll bring them up behind us. And that's great. I taught at a school, in a high-end school, right here in our region. And when I got to the shop to do a class, I was filling in for the instructor who I know. I said, "Can we cut this out?" And the guy said, "Nope." I said, "Can we do such?" "Nope." "Why?" "Well, we don't have any blades anymore."
Oh, geez.
They took everything that could cut you out of the shop. And then when I got to thinking about it, half of those kids' dad had a shingle out front of their store. I mean, and I guess you get hit a couple of times, you just don't go back to boxing. And this guy said he can talk theory, he can talk technique, he can talk about how to this and this happen, show slideshows, no tools. And they had a beautiful shop.
Wow.
But that's where we're going. Hey, I saw YouTube this morning.
Yeah,
How to teach your kids how to read a clock.
Oh,
We have I belong to a club that we meet at a junior high school, and their shop is fantastic. They got 10 mini lathes in it, 10 scroll saws in it, and everything else you need, and it has blades.
Well, you're not in the elite portion of a city.
But
Right?
in Zurich, California,
It's shocking. That's shocking to me.
yeah, that's a kind of an elite city here in California.
Yeah.
So,
But you know what? When you see somebody on the side of the road that can't figure out what that lug wrench is for and how it works,
I bet they budget for new equipment every year too.
oh, hey, the high school I went to, not no pity party. High school I went to, we had one softball, and the teacher for physical ed would re-sew it every fall, so we'd have a good ball to play with. And other schools had football programs, basketball programs, and all that. We had 6 basketball courts, no basketball. It's just where the priorities are. All right. We started the evening off chatting about something. I want to go back to it lightly, and I'm gonna do that right now. Let me do this spotlight thing, because I'm gonna have to bring in a couple of my co-hosts, or your co-host. Gotta be careful how I'll say that. Your co-host in a few minutes to talk about this. We have received some input from members. That's every single member, and this is the rant. We don't have a clique. We don't have an elite group. We don't have a board of directors that make all the decisions. We kind of leave it up to you to make the decisions. And what we're talking about here is about having a turning of the week and a turning of the week and a member of the month. Now, let me explain the program before you throw a nickel on the table. To be fair for all, this is for every member and everybody that tunes in. If you turn, you don't turn. If you get involved to help us do things, if you answer questions, throw ideas out or whatever, you're a vital part of this organization. You really are. And then if you're a turner, whether you're a novice turner or a seasoned turner, we want to honor your work and show it off. Now, we do this a couple of ways. Put them in a newsletter. We put them in on the website. We show them on the program here with the weekly meetings. But this would be a little change to that. We're going to take it in 2 directions. Let's say turning of the week. They might, some folks just don't turn, but if you turn it before, we'd like to see it now. And it'll be selected by the membership based upon photographs. Now, I can hit 3 buttons on my computer right now and snap this image and save it. I can do the same thing when you're gallerying something. I can click and save yours. And trust me, I do it a lot because I want to take a second view of it later. Or you can send us an email or photograph by email or send it to the club address. We will take all those methods to produce a video to be aired at a particular time the next week. It'll just be a presentation photo. You've seen it before. The only thing missing will be names. I mean, no names. They'll have a number, and if you like number 4, you can get number 4. If you like number 7, you can pick number 7. You only pick 1 seasoned and 1 novice. And when you send them in, you have to tell us if you're going to go for seasoned or novice. I don't want to say rookie. I want to say novice. And then we will show the video and post a poll. That's our YouTube, our Zoom master Trace is going to produce a poll that we can include in this. And then you can vote live right then and there. And before the evening's out, you'll find out who's a seasoned turner and who's the novice turner, unless you come up with another name for novice or seasoned. And we will announce who is the best turn, who has the best turning of the week, their name and everything. Okay, that's for the turning of the week, and that'll continue on and on and on and on. I think it's a great way of showing everybody else's art. And if you're reluctant to hold it up in front of your mug here and show people, send us a photograph. It's okay. We don't need to see you. All right. So that's the turning of the week. And we'll keep doing this, and we'll set a time frame and stuff. Now, get this. This is all proposed by the membership. And then we have member of the month. And as I was speaking about a moment ago, we have a lot of folks that aren't turners, but they help us. And they're here every week. And we want their input, we want their support. We want what they know to come out. And we're going to develop a program, or would like to develop a program, where every member during this month has a chance to be called the member of the month. And what we propose is that we'll have nominations via the chat program. So anytime during a month, you can say, I nominate Ronnie as member of the month. All right. It's really mom, but I didn't want to say we nominate Ronnie to be mom. Okay. But you can nominate somebody, and then when all the nominations are together, we will put out another poll, and we'll let you select the member of the month. Now, it's open for conversation. And that's why I brought that up. It's, as I started, not a clique, not a gang, not a group. There's no priority. There's no select bunch of people that have put this together, except the guy sitting in your chair. He's one of those folks that can put it together. So I'd like to hear some input from it, if you would, please. Hello? Is this thing on?
Just out of curiosity, Eddie, how would you put the poll out?
It'd be right here in this program, right in front of you.
Oh, on here. Okay, gotcha.
Yes. And that way we get instant results, and you can only vote once. In case you live in Louisiana, you can only vote once.
If you look at this, the bottom of your screen, you bring up the screen at the bottom, you know, where it says the chat and participants. There's a spot now for polls.
Yeah, it should, and when there's a poll initiated on the host, it can do so. And the host is the only group here that can post a poll, not even a co-host. And we can see the results, but we cannot post a poll. And we did this earlier on to get input from folks. What else?
Eddie, I think we ought to have nominations on the last meeting of the month only, and not all the way during the month. So we don't have to keep. So we don't have to keep track of it, everything as things migrate through the month.
I agree. I had that on my notes and didn't read it right.
Okay, so we had it up after that meeting, and then get all the nominations in there from that one chat.
Yes. And if you'd like, we could recap the month, and that's up to you. If you want to recap the month and say something right there. Oh yeah, by the way, we cannot award a prize or a gift. That's it. We can give you recognition. We can talk about you in a positive, and your work will appear on our website, newsletter, and in our promos. The promos are starting to click. I'm getting more input about, okay, I saw this. How do I join the club? It's simple. There's a button on the website for joining a club. It's phony because you don't have to join the club. The next to it is one that says, go to the meeting, but David's also got a little clock to tell you how long it is, in case you can't tell time. And I'm blown away by the video I saw this morning on YouTube, teaching kids how to tell time on a regular clock, because they don't want to put regular clocks in schools. Oh, well, I think I learned that in kindergarten. When the hand gets to this, we get to go on recess. You know, there are priorities in life. And that was one. Okay, what else on this? Come on. Let me explain more. This all got started by a member, Brent, who showed a piece last week. Brent, you just walked in, sat down, you're with us now, but last week Brent showed a piece and I hit screen capture about 10 times in a row because I wanted a positively, absolutely great presentation that I could look at. I wanted to figure out how he did it. I wanted to see what he did. I wanted to see how that wood looked. And my wife says the wood was a little bit busy. Wood's never busy. But Brent showed this piece and we had a ton of input from it, really, from Facebook to the gallery to everything. And people wanted to know, what can we do to award or reward turners that do this kind of stuff? So then we came up with this Turner of the Week and Member of the Month program. And it came from all the membership. You threw the nickels on the table. It's the only way you came up to $1 to do this, really. So if you got a comment on this program, I need to hear it now. Or I'd like to hear it now. Let me change that. If you're not going to talk about it, I mentioned that. We got two demos. Say again.
Or if there's any other suggestions on how to do it or to go about it, we're open for hearing that as well.
Yeah,
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, it's open. I want to know what's going. Don't worry about the logistics of putting it all together. We got that covered. I don't have a shop out there I can work in, so I got to sit here and do things. Don't have to sit here, but I want to sit here. So, I'll show you photographs of the shop. That's after FEMA says the bomb is all the bomb residue is gone. But it's okay. We're cleaning it up. I went in. It took me an entire week to walk out there and walk in and look around. It really did. And still, you work at something for 50 years and all of a sudden it's gone. It's like losing your favorite dog. So, but hey, I'm an ammo troop. I'm resilient. Damn it, I'm coming back. We've got a good host of folks there. Dane has lined up 2 demonstrations for this evening, and we're looking for more. We've penciled in Brenda, but we had to get back to that. But we have Walt Weiger on the sushi bowl in a little while. And then later on, Kirk Kapp is going to do one on the CA finish with 3408. You hear, and I hear a lot about 3408. Ronnie can't turn wood without it. Right, Ronnie? Is he still around? Or he's mad because I called him mom.
No, I'm here. It just takes me a few minutes to find the button.
When Ronnie turns anything, it gets 3408. If he turns a corner, he puts a smear down.
If I use 3408, I can go sit down and take it easy. I don't have to put 19 coats on it.
Well, that's why Kirk Kapp is going to explain tonight how to use that finish. And if folks, if you say, I don't understand that, get over it. We're going to show you how to do it. That's why we're here.
Hey, Eddie.
Yes, ma'am. Hi, Sue.
Hi there. Got a question. What is the criteria for member of the month?
To be involved.
Okay.
Be involved. See, if you don't show anything all month long, but you come in with tips and hints and tricks and offer to be the co-host and help us with the organization, you're as good as anybody else to be a member of the month. Because you're a member.
So what you're asking each of us to do is to nominate someone?
The last week of the month, we'll ask you to put a nomination in.
Okay.
And we can talk about that. There's no secrets here.
And everybody doesn't have to put a nomination in. It's just whoever wants to can add nominations to it. So.
Yeah.
And then the next meeting we'll vote on poll with those names on it, and we'll vote on this open vote on who it should be.
And we'll announce it that night.
For that. Yep.
And you get this free set of great steak knives to go right along with it.
Wait, there's more.
I want a Funkin' Wagnall encyclopedia set.
How about
I'd hate
two?
to ship- I'd hate to pay to
You
ship
older
it.
guys remember that, and gals, you remember that because we used to pick them up at the store, right? We used to go in the 60s and you either get a piece of silverware or you get one of the encyclopedias.
Yep, that's how we got
Nowadays, you can't get rid of them.
And then you
If you
can't get
bought
rid of them. That's right.
If you bought the whole set, you'd get an annual update every year too.
What's great is they really should give it away so they can just collect on the postage. Because that's going to be a fortune. Hey, we are still collecting Freedom Pens. We have Doug Rowe collecting them for the Army, and we have another gentleman collecting them for the Navy, and Ronnie Bonnet collected them for the Marine Corps. And Ronnie needs his pens by November 19th. Now, he'll take them after that, but he needs a bunch of pens to take to the graduation where his grandson gets out of boot camp. And that's going to be November 19th, and he's going up there to see him. I saw Gary Bobenhausen. Hey, look, Gary. Well, see this? Gary got the shirt on.
I noticed.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone have Doug Rowe's email? I sent him a package. I found the note on the table. I thought it was put in a box. Doug's email is, I think it's on our website. If not, in a moment, somebody will throw it up in a chat. I can't do that when I'm here. But to get a hold of Doug Rowe.
I don't think his email's there, but his phone number and his address is.
Okay. He's got one of those, Doug is the greatest Army guy or something like that for an email. Randy Smith says he's got 40 pens in the process, 30 done. He's going to get to the last 4 and then we'll up there. And Jane Zebro says the member of the month's a good idea. Great way for recognizing a good job. James, spell check destroyed your message. But thank you, sir. It is a good idea. We'll talk about it later on this evening. We have a program at 7. Then after that, we'll talk a little bit more about it. I would like to get this underway. You, as a membership, if you choose to get it underway or not to get it underway, and remember, no commitment, no payment, no membership, no special handshake, nothing. You're a member. You are eligible. And we want to recognize your work. I mean, after what we've seen the last couple of weeks, it's amazing. Ronnie and I were talking. Go ahead.
When do you want to vote on it?
Well, let's do it after the second demo tonight, which is
Eddie.
Kirk Kapp. Sir.
Eddie, you know that I don't stay quiet, and I was just thinking about it. I really like the idea of what you were saying about the turn of the week and the ideas and the show and tells that we get on screen. But just to throw another idea in the works, somebody did mention there that the member of the month is a great idea. It's a great way for sort of recognizing other people that maybe don't have turn-ins to show, but do have an input. You know, John Brown there that I see all the time, he always inputs into something. It's very rare that he shows something, but he's always got something to input. So I think it's a great idea. I do have my concerns on voting or voting for somebody. For example, if you only get 2 people, let's say we get 2 names in the hat, how would that other person feel? Would they feel like they missed out on it? So here's an idea. If this month, everybody on the screen thought about what they got from this program. So let's say, for example, tonight, John Brown says, I've got this new tool and I've done this or I've done that. And I think, bloody hell, what a good idea John's just come up with. I would then nominate John Brown, not for the turner of the month or the member of the month, but to recognize him, something that I've drawn from it. And then Dave Rhodes, the webmaster, could list everybody's name that's had an input that somebody's got something from, rather than voting for an individual. Just my opinion.
So it'd be sort of like a members of recognition.
Perfect. What you got out from it. So vote for what? Vote for the person that you got something from this month, and you might have 10 this month that are all recognized, rather than just one.
We're going to take all that in consideration. It's good. See, hey, what input. Come on.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that idea too.
I just feel that if you've got 5 names in the pot and you're asking 50 members to vote for 5 people, you might create a little bit of something. Well, he really did a good job and I wanted to vote for him, but he did a good job as well and I really wanted to vote for him. Well, I'll vote for him next month, but not this month. It's this kind of, you know, who did better at something than somebody else. Just my opinion, Eddie.
You know, they'd be sort of like Little League Baseball.
Yeah.
Because everybody gets a ribbon and everybody goes home and they don't keep score and everybody has a good time. We might end up with a Little League ball team here before it's all
Eddie?
over. Yes, sir.
That's a good idea what Martin said, because you and I are constantly talking every day. And for everybody to know, our goal is for everybody to, and sometimes for everyone to come forth and put in their 2 cents or show us what they're doing or tell us something about turning. We have about 20, 25 people that participate a lot, but we're looking for those people that are sitting back and not saying anything because you feel like this is you might be used to a club that has some type of clique or anything else. We want you to come forth and say what you would like to see, what you would like to do, and show us what you're doing. We would love for everybody to participate, like what Brenda does, or Doug does, or Susan does, or anybody else that speaks up. We would like to have all of you coming forth and putting in your 2 cents, whether you want to kid me or kid Eddie or whatever else. We welcome all.
Everything is fair, really. Our rules are no vulgarity. You must be kind, and there's no endorsements. If you talk about using until later on tonight, we're going to talk about using 3408. That can also be done with other brands of CA. It's just that that brand pops up a lot on this program. It's not an endorsement. We're not going to have anybody selling it on air or anything. And the only thing we give away is this great set of steak knives. But we want to get input. That's what Ronnie just gave me. Input. Martin gave me input. Sue gave me input. And it goes right on down the line. And that's what we're looking for. So with that in mind, consider for a few moments, I have to go to our gallery master, Dane, who has probably got a couple of folks wanting to show something tonight.
Yes.
Hey, Eddie.
Ready.
Go ahead, sir.
I just had an off the wall question. What happened to the lovely backdrop that you used to have behind you?
Martin or me?
It's definitely not. That is definitely Jason asking you where your backdrop's gone, Eddie.
Oh, for some reason, since the storm, my bandwidth at this location's dropped significantly, and in fact, I can't go through OBS and NDI to generate anything right now because it cuts out. We're waiting for them to get the systems repaired.
No, the one that was hanging on the wall behind you.
Oh, wife took it down because it was causing me to have an allergic reaction. It's cloth. It catches everything that's in a room. So that's why she took it down. I want another one up. I really do.
Okay.
And I want it out of quilt patterns. Let's go back to Dane with us right now to talk about gallery. What's up, bud?
All right. Well, we got Doug Miller up. Doug, talk to us.
Wake him up. Wake him up.
I'm here. Been awake. Wanted something to do other than snowmen. I've been working on snowmen like crazy. I've got about 39 more I want to make this year. So I wanted a break. So I reached down, grabbed a first chunk of wood that's sitting under my lathe, and I came up with a piece of apple. Get the phone back away from me a little bit. It's
Nice texture.
10 1/4 inches diameter, 2.5 inches deep. Have my typical 3 lines with my my name, the date, and the wood species on there. That's finished with OB shine juice, then followed up with some abrasive paste and some wax. I still want to go back, probably will wait until tomorrow, go back. I don't know if you can see in the bottom, there's some, well, no, you can't really see it. There's some marks there from where I reversed it to take the tenon off the bottom. Plus the shine is just not where I want it. So I'm going to put it on the Bill Buff system tomorrow, see if I can't get it to polish up a little brighter.
I like the piece. I do.
Yeah, nice piece of wood.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's beautiful.
Got just a little bit of a lip on that top edge. I don't know if
Thanks,
And
kid.
that's
Doug,
a
what kind
challenge.
of wood is that?
apple.
Apple, okay. That's
Bones
nice.
dry.
That's pretty. I don't see no faces in it though.
No, there's no faces.
No
Big
faces,
size.
no animals, no dogs.
It looks
There's-
like tears, Brenda, tears running down.
There is just a small little crack in the rim that was there. It was in the blank before I ever started. I was hoping I'd get past it, but I didn't get past it until I was in the very center of the bowl. So it's there, it's repaired, it's stable. So, but it's cracked.
All right. Thank you, Doug. Appreciate you showing tonight. And that's what
Thanks, guys.
gallery is all about. We have a few more minutes before we get to our first demonstration of the evening. Dane, you got somebody else?
Yes, sir. We got James up next. Hey, James.
James, you're not unmuted again, sir.
Still muted. Still muted. There you go.
Okay. This is my little rendition of the cross that we were all doing the other day. This is 3 crosses on a mesquite platform.
It's a nice presentation.
Nice.
Yes, thank you. The middle one is mesquite, and the other 2 smaller ones are spalta pecan.
I like the way you have them displayed. That's nice.
Yes.
Yes.
It's real nice
Thank you.
piece.
Real nice.
And it's
Very
got
nice.
a whole bunch of
Beautiful.
coats of spray lacquer on it.
Yeah, I like
Yes,
the way you
nice
got
job.
them grouped there.
Yes,
Yep.
thank you.
Very nice.
Right. Thank you, sir. James, we're gonna go to
Appreciate
more gallery before we go to our demonstration. Dane's gonna call up the next one.
All right.
Who's up?
Bundy, you're up next.
Say again?
Charlie Bundy.
Charlie. See, y'all woke him up. See?
This is what?
Go ahead, you're all right. Hold the
Yeah,
piece up.
I had a big message come across my screen. This is made out of apples, just a little flower vase. Even the inside is smooth. Now, these two items are for my bathroom. It's a toothbrush holder and a water cup. Both apple out of the same branch.
Nice.
That's sweet.
And just so it can be cleaned easy. Now, the bottom comes off.
Go put it in the
Made like a
microwave.
box.
That's nice.
It's the only way I could hollow it.
That's a good idea.
That's good.
Yeah, looks very nice.
And
Thank you,
then
Charlie. I'm sorry.
a cross out of apple wood.
That's nice.
It's made offset.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
That's a trick in itself. Okay.
The branch was bowed. That's how it offset. I didn't do it. I centered it, but because of the bowl, to get a base, I had to leave it offset.
Hey, I wouldn't tell anybody that. You know, that's technique, bud.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie. Appreciate it.
All right.
Beautiful job.
So up next, we got Randy Smith. He wants to do a screen share. Randy.
Yep.
Okay.
Randy, do a screen share on brass
when I
tubes.
make, okay.
We're looking at glove.
When I'm making all my pans, I have a little jig that I use that I can just slide the brass tube on and where am I?
That's a good idea.
Okay, keep this in mind when you put a nomination in for member of the month. Because that's what we're looking for, tips, tricks, and ideas.
Great idea. The way I do 40 or so brass tubes at a time.
Well, you know, and we all develop, well, not all of us, but many of us develop those techniques, and it's great to have them shared. So thank you, Randy. That's beautiful
Good
tonight.
job.
And considering we still collected those freedom pens, time to do it. So, do we have one more, Dane?
Yes, we do. Let's go to Jacksonville, Florida. Jim, you're up.
I got, oh, hell.
You're up, you're gone. We see it.
Yeah, I got my freedom box finished. Got the label on the front, on the top of it. Finished with lacquer and Howard's oil. And then I got one thing to say. I poured a pen blank this morning, and it was supposed to be clear. And when we pulled it out of the pressure pot, it was solid white. And I called the Lumelite, and they said that there's a 3-month shelf life of open Lumelite, that it reacts with water, and after about 3 months, you'll wind up with a white casting instead of a clear casting. I didn't know that, and neither did the other people that were with me. So just pass it along.
Thank you, Jim. Appreciate that little bit of information. Nice note. And that stuff, I agree with them. It does have an age to it. I've had it, got it in and didn't get to it for a little bit and had a solid can. So, all right, Dane, we've got time for one more.
All right, let's go with Tim Hatch. Hey, Tim, you're becoming a regular now.
Yeah, I'm trying, between work and everything. So if you don't see me on here on Wednesday nights, that's why I'm working. So I found a piece of cedar and I ended up turning a little set of weed pots here out of the cedar branch. I thought they came out pretty nice.
Yeah, they look
Those are
real
pretty.
Nice.
Good.
And the finish on
Nice.
there is the old OB shine juice. And then I did a sanding compound with beeswax, mineral oil, and a little bit of diatomaceous earth mixed together. Then this one was supposed to be an offset turning. It started out that way, almost got there, but the bottom of the cedar was rotted out because it was faulted pretty bad. So it pretty much disintegrated on the lathe. God bless face shields.
Cedar
But,
about that.
going back, one last thing, and I'll get out everybody's hair there is, I know with Christmas coming and everybody's spending some money on eyelets for ornaments and that type of thing. I know this is an old trick of the trade. Hell, I learned it from y'all. But just a reminder, wire, thin gauge wire. I got all that wire off what was wrapped around chicken wire. It's just galvanized wire. Cut off a little piece, get yourself a nail like this roofing nail, put it up over the top, and just give it a twist. And as you're twisting it, it's going to tighten up around the nail and basically make its own eyelet. What I do with these, so I'll clip off that excess. Now I've got that little eyelet that I can put in top of my Christmas ornament. Cheap, didn't cost me anything. I already had all that wire from what was wrapped around the chicken wire, but you could use brass, you could use copper wire, do the same thing. Just something to put your Christmas tree hanger on. So that's what I've been using. Drill a hole at the end of your ornament, put that in with some CA glue and done. Didn't cost you anything. So
Thank you,
Good
Tim.
that's all I got for the evening.
Good
Tim.
one.
Very nice.
Saving money and getting our work done. So this evening we have two demos for you. We're going to crank this one up right now. Walt Wager is with us. Walt, are you geared up, ready to go? Walt, we don't hear.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Now we have you, Walt.
Yes.
All right. It's a pleasure to be here. I've been listening to everything that's been going on and thinking about some of your goals. And I think it's great that you have something like this going where anybody can participate, no cost. And it's a great thing to do. What I'm going to do tonight, what I've been working on, I think I showed this last week at your meeting. I have a friend that gave me some wood. Of course, as a wood turner, you never turn down free wood, even if you have more than you can use for the rest of your life. You're cutting my head off, Tom, I think.
You have a cameraman?
There we go. Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. And so I came up with this idea of a sushi dish because they like sushi. And I'm going to make something for them. And I used PowerPoint to make a template. And I have a overhead camera. I have a short PowerPoint program for the beginning part of this. So tonight I'm going to turn this into a sushi dish, but in order to get ready for that, the PowerPoint will show you what I had to do. So Tom, can we put that up, share the screen?
Okay, I got to share the screen with you. Oh, give me one moment. Okay, share screen's turned on for you.
No, well, this is for, okay. Tom is working on it. Hold on. I don't think you had a share screen. I think we did.
Well, I have to give you a permission.
Okay, hold on. Let's see if I can get to the PowerPoint. That would be this one. Okay,
All right, let's start it, Walt.
all right. And Tom's going to forward it as we go along. You know where the forward thing is? Okay, let's see. Give us a second here to figure this out, how we get this to move. Okay, you just press the button. So to start off with, the template that I'm using is on my website if anyone chooses to download it. What are you seeing now?
The template download, okay.
What happened to the PowerPoint? Hold on, we'll get this.
All right, we're looking at your PowerPoint now. You zoom in.
Oh, you're looking at it? Oh, okay. I don't see it on my screen. So, so anyhow, on my website, there's a list of things under the video tab, and one of them is the Suchi template. And
Okay,
if you want to make the
excuse
same
me,
thing,
Walt.
you can download that.
Well,
One
can
of
we get your cameraman to back up 2 slides? Press
Back up
the other
2
arrow.
slides. I don't know if we can do that. Let's see.
Yeah, you press
Oh,
the
you know
other-
what? Use the left arrow on the keyboard. There we go.
No, it didn't move.
You're seeing the title slide now?
No, sir, we're seeing the drill press slide.
Got the slide with the clamps.
Pardon?
You're on the drill press, drilling the mortise.
Oh. Click that one up there top. Click that. Can you see it now?
No change.
Okay, we'll get it.
You know, we can live through this, Walt, if you only keep going.
Well, we can, one sec, let's try this. Come up here and go to slideshow and say,
Okay, folks, you tuned in to worldwidewoodturners.org, and Walt Wager is doing the sushi bowl for us right now. Some technical problems out of his shop. We're waiting until it's cleared up a little bit. We've got 2 demos tonight. And Kirk and Kapp will be here with a one on CA finish in a little while. And
okay, well, we haven't tried this before from here, so I will move on. And I don't know what slide you're seeing, but you see the left arrow and the right arrow on the keyboard, move the slides back and forth.
Can we get your website posted on the chat when you get a chance?
Sure.
Okay, we're at the sprayed down pattern on the board right now.
Let's see what this does. What I did was right to that. Oh, and you got it? Okay, so the pattern is glued to the board with a spray adhesive. 3M, it's an art adhesive, and I just spray the back of the template and then stick it to the board. And then go to the next slide.
Oh, we're going too fast. He's got a touchy finger.
That's not moving on our screen. That's the problem.
Moving here.
There you go.
Okay,
That's the
we're
one
in the
with this.
we're in the bandsaw right now.
So the next one is at the bandsaw. The bandsaw, and the only thing I would say about bandsaw is that if you have a 3/8 inch blade, like a woodcutter blade like I have, it's hard to get around corners. So you have to make a number of cuts straight in to the corners where the smooth curves meet before you try to cut the piece out. Go, okay, next slide.
We're at the drill press.
With the drill press, okay. So the only thing about the drill press I would say is do not try to hold, we're drilling a 2 1/8 inch hole in the back. There's a mortise that we're going to put into the chuck in expansion mode. If you're doing this on a drill press with a Forstner bit, make sure you clamp that down because you cannot hold it if it grabs, believe me. Next. All right, so now I think the next one is showing the...
We're looking at the face of the template while you have it mounted on a chuck.
Right, on the lathe, okay. Time to make some shavings. I think that's something that Eddie says, right?
Yep.
Occasionally.
All right, so we can go live now. We get out of the, we'll see if we can get out of the PowerPoint back to a live show. Are you seeing this now on me on the lathe?
Yes, sir. I just stopped at the share. So you're up.
Okay, can we get this camera here?
Looking at overhead and the chuck in a block is
Right,
on.
I'm trying to get, we're going to go to the tailstock camera so you can see the front of it. So basically what I've done is just take that hole that I drilled with the drill press, put it on the lathe in expansion mode, and I'm getting ready to turn. I get my face shield on.
Thank you.
I'm using a spindle gouge. And what I'm going to do is to start out here, there's a circle in the middle. I'm going to leave this as called the plate. This is the part here that the food would be on. And the rest of it, I'm carving away.
Okay,
To
green
make
plate.
it, give it a profile and a foot. And for safety reasons, I can move this. There we go. For safety reasons, I suggest when you can bring up the tailstock. And I do this at home when I'm making these, I'm making it on a small little 12-inch jet lathe. This is Tom's lathe, beautiful, robust.
You know what? If you like it, Walt, you can take it home with you.
I couldn't get out of here with it, I'm sure.
Well, we can distract them.
Hey, Walt,
Yeah.
why would you use a spindle gouge instead of a bowl gouge?
Well, I'll show you that. I mean, to me, the spindle gouge has a longer, on mine anyhow, a longer cutting edge. And it's shallow, so I can just bowl gouge. There's nothing, but the other part of it is I'm going to be doing other things in here that require a spindle gouge, like putting a bead on here. So I'm going to start it up, I think. If I can figure out how to make it go. And at home, I turn about 1,500 RPM. I'm not crazy about going up to 2,000, but 1,500 is fast enough. I don't know what the speed is on this lathe, but we're going to go for it. So I just put the spindle gouge up here at an angle about 11 o'clock toward the end.
Well, for some reason, if you're doing a commentary right now, it's being overridden by your camera. We don't hear you.
And that will taper it out. And I want to come down to about half the width of the board. This is a nominally 1-inch board.
For those of you watching this that are interested in doing a demonstration with the organization, if you're using a digital camera or camcorder, there would be a override on the microphone. And if you turn it off, then you hear all the sound that comes off the work. Otherwise, it's going to eliminate the highs and lows of chatter, noise, and the cutting.
Is this something we can do, you're saying?
Well, it can be done with some camcorders. It's an automatic built-in device to make home movies nicer. We're okay. If you do your commentary when the lathe isn't running, we're great.
You can see that there's some profile coming along on the top edge. And what I'm going to do is now put the make the dish in the center. And for that, I'm gonna, first of all, just kind of take this stuff off. So I can look and see how it's coming. This is a piece of maple. Actually, it's two pieces of maple that have been glued together. So the board's been glued in the middle, as you might be able to see when I take it off. But I'm going to try to make a couple passes in here and get this smoother and coming out here. And I found that using a negative rake scraper, there it is. Negative rake scraper on this works pretty well. And I've seen Rudy Lopez do this, so that's where I got the idea. That's not bad. It's a little bit of tear out here, but I'll do it again. Then I'm going to move this back. Just check to make sure this is secure in here. And I'll take the finish off this dish.
You're rubbing the bevel on that cut, correct?
Excuse me?
You're rubbing the bevel on that cut?
Yeah, as much as I can.
Yeah, to get a good clean peel.
Right. I just want to feel it so it's no big lumps or bumps or anything going through the middle, and that seems pretty good. The other thing that I found is that I have a little round negative rake scraper too, and sometimes I can come in here and clean this up so that I hardly have to sand. Depends on the wood. A lot depends on the wood. Okay, that looks fair enough. And I'll just spend a little more time trying to use the negative rake scraper, the square one out here, the flat one, I should say, coming in here and cleaning up this piece. not bad. Now, normally I would sand this, and I've only one thing to say about sanding. Because this is sticking out here like this, and you have pieces that you can't see, you can do, you're gonna have to do some sanding, it seems to me, off of a lathe. But I could take one, I'll start with 180 here, and have a piece of foam rubber that I put the sandpaper around. I don't want to slow it down because I don't want to, otherwise I can't just stay on the outside of that.
Dave, if you can hear me, the sanding overrides the microphone. So we don't hear any commentary you have right now.
The sanding overrides the microphone?
Yes.
Part of it might be because of the face shield.
No, sir. It's the chip on the camera takes out the highs and lows to make it a clearer sound for home movies.
So there's some figure in this wood. It looks like there's a branch coming into it or something. So as I said, it's going to take some sanding off the lathe anyhow. And when I generally do that, I'll use one of these Harbor Freight sanders, angle grills, and just go around the piece like this. I'm not going to do a lot of sanding tonight, just to save Tom from cleaning up a lot of dust. So that would be the front of, or the top of the dish. Now I have to turn the bottom. In order to do that, I have a platter, basically, with a tenon with a piece of leather on it.
Hey, Ronnie, they took one of your old belts and cut it up. Look.
I'm enjoying this demo.
Hey, Ron.
Very good.
Good to hear from you. Ron was one of our demos up here when we had King Arthur Tools going. It's closed down now because of the COVID virus and everything that went on.
Walt, you're using that pad oversized to your bowl.
Excuse me?
That pad is oversized to the rim on a bowl.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes, the pad.
So it's not acting like a jam chuck or a modified jam chuck.
No, it's strictly friction.
Okay. You might have missed that. That's a nifty trick.
Well, it's not strictly friction. There's the one of the things that the Fosner bit does for you is leaves a hole in the bottom. You have to be a little bit aware of that because otherwise, if you cut the top too thick, you're liable to have a hole through the whole thing. Later on, I filled that hole, but I'll talk about that in a minute. But right now, I'm just using a live center that captures it like that. And I'm going to come back and basically do the same thing on this side that I did on the other side. I'm going to start shaping the profile.
That fish already has an eye on the other side.
Excuse me?
So that fish already has an eye on the back side.
Yeah, sometimes
the eye's already there.
It's really funny. I'll show you some of the finished ones later, but yeah, that one's got an eye right there.
Yeah, but if you flip it over, there's one on the back side.
That's true.
Nice eye, Ronnie.
Knew that'll light up, Brenda.
You
I don't
missed
even,
that
I don't know
one,
how you
Brenda.
could even, I don't even how, no, you can see that on the TV, but anyhow. Yeah, it's on the wrong side of the, oh, well, we'll deal with it.
It's coming and going. That's the deal.
Catch that in there like that.
Walt, there's a whole lot of folks liking that leather pad idea.
See how we're looking? Okay, I'm a little torn out piece on the foot here, but I think I can get that out of there. Actually, I think that was a part of the original wood. It was already torn up in the back here.
And there'd be no specific height for that lip. It just has to be a lip off the base so it sits on the table smooth.
Pardon?
This would make a great Christmas gift.
What I was saying, Walt, is there's no specific height on that lip. It just has to be a lip so it sits on a table flat.
Right. So it's, yeah, so it's, that's right, exactly. And I'm going to try it now. What I'm working on now is to get the thickness down to a point where it's a reasonable dish. I don't want it to be an inch thick up here. I want it to be down so that it's about an eighth to 3/16 of an inch.
Folks, if you're just tuning in, we're having a little audio output problem from Walt, but he tells us late right now.
If you get an overhead shot, maybe you can see the profile developing. You can see the thickness coming down. You have to be careful because when you're coming out as the tail, of course, it doesn't take long before it takes less time to take this off than it does take off this piece in the middle here, and you can get it too thin real fast. Don't ask me how I know that.
You read it in the book.
Good
So-
shavings coming off of there.
Pardon?
He's slicing it off. That's what he's doing.
It's getting there.
Well, you also have to make sure that when you're finished, the tail is not resting on the table. Got to be above that.
Oh,
little
right, right.
ring.
Well, yeah, it won't be.
And you can see that in the overhead shot.
I'll switch to the scraper. Still a little thick. Sometimes what I have to do is just kind of say, well, this is the part I want to be thinner right in here. So just kind of make a mark or let myself know that that's where it has to be. Having a little bit of cleanup with the scraper. And I'm going to leave it at that for now. And then I'm going to go to the next stage, which is cleaning up the edges. And again, I would sand this as much as I can with the rubber pad and the paper before I go to the next stage, but I'm going to just move on. And what I've made is a little jig with some Velcro on the end of it. To hold a 3-inch piece of sandpaper. I move that up there like that. And
How about tailstock shot?
Tailstock shot.
There we go.
Okay. And now for this, I slow the speed down. And you can just come around like this. You don't need a fancy reciprocal sander or anything like that. You have to remember this side's coming up. And I just knocked the corners off.
Gordon's asking how thick the wood was, and Walt had said it was a 1-inch piece.
1 inch. Well, you can do it with 3/4. I've done some with standard 3/4. You just have to be a little bit careful on the back when you make the hole for the mortise, or you can always make a pin and I use a glue block and put it on a pin, and that way you won't have a problem with the Forstner bit going through the front. There's many ways to do this.
Tim Hatch from Texas says he can see the sushi bowl idea being used for other applications like animal shapes for a kid's dinner plates.
Oh, you want to talk about animal shapes like a chicken sushi?
Hey, Tim, there's no grass grows under his feet.
My daughter was visiting, and when I was making these things, and she raises chickens, she said, "Well, make a chicken sushi dish." I said, "Well, I've never had chicken sushi, but I can make the dish." And then I thought, well, maybe we should do something for the.
Hey, Walt, can you put that chicken back up again?
It's heading that way, Tim.
And then what about cat lovers? They deserve a dish too, don't they?
Yeah.
There you go. So it's all done the same way. It's just a little platter, a little dish with some carving and some decoration. The decoration.
Walt,
That
we need
chicken
to get
plate
back
looks
to
so-
the template info.
What's
Say again,
that?
Ronnie?
We need to get back to the template information so we can download it.
Yeah, well, just waltwager.com is my website. And under the video tab, there's all the videos. There's a whole video of this. Right next to that video, it's at the very bottom. There's a Word document that you can download. It's the template for the fish. I have a template for the chicken too, but I haven't got it online. I guess I could put it up there if anybody's interested in chicken.
Well, we got a request from Billy. He wants a rat shaped one to make a cheese board out of.
There you go. Right, that's a great idea.
I want a bird shaped one.
Ducks is blue ducks. As far as the decoration, one of the things that I use, if I can find where I put it, there's a oh, here it is. I got it. It's called ink tints. They're watercolor pencils, and you can draw on the wood, and then you can wet it. Let's see if I can get this so you can see it. You can wet it, and the watercolors come out and blend. And then you can coat it with whatever finish that you want. Now, I did a little research on food safe finishes, and everybody says that the oils like polyurethane and tung oil and all these, when they set, they're completely food safe. But there's no FDA approval on any of that stuff. The only thing you get FDA approval on is epoxies like Lumelite. And I've tried doing some, making some of these with Lumelite as the coating. And it's very difficult to get a very smooth coating all the way around the edges. There was a turner in Washington named David Laurie, who made some, used to make salad bowls, mostly salad bowls. And he finished them all with an epoxy. And they're just an absolutely gorgeous, beautiful finish. No bumps, no lumps or anything. And I've tried to get a hold of him to find out.
Spin it.
What's that?
You have to spin it with the
Spin it?
epoxy on it. You have to
Spin
let
it?
the epoxy dry while it's spinning very slowly.
Well, it takes 24 hours to, well, it doesn't take 24 hours to start the set. But the problem I would think would be that as it's spinning, it's going to spin it out on the outer edges. I haven't tried that. Maybe I'm going to have to try something in order to try to get away with.
I do it on a rotisserie motor.
Yeah, well, that definitely might work. My little 12-inch lathe goes pretty slow, so I could
If you
try
get
it.
down to 6 RPM, it'll work.
What?
If you can get down to 6 RPM, it'll work.
Oh, is that right? Well, that's what I'll try next. But the Lumelite makes a couple different epoxies, and the one that I've been using is a craft store epoxy called Amazing Casting Resin or Amazing Art Resin. And a number of the artists that do things like dirty pour, liquid pour, where they pour the acrylics over the surface and let it fly out. They use an artist resin on a flat surface. The problem here is we've got these cup surfaces, and most of those epoxies are self-leveling. So you get a thicker, much thicker coat in the center than you do on any other edges. If anybody has any experience with epoxy and knows a better way to do it, please let me know. So that's what I'm struggling with now is basically I'm trying to finish them with epoxy. And as far as food safe goes with 3804 or 3408, whatever it is, CA glue, I guess that's the next presentation. I asked Mark Saleh, who sells this stuff, if it's food safe. And he said, yeah, when it dries, it's a solid acrylic and it's food safe. He says, but don't write that down that I said that. So there you have it. Nobody wants to take responsibility for what actually is food safe.
Walt, has been a fantastic demonstration, sir. We very much appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me. I hope that if you all try it, you'll send me an email and show me what you got.
That is a very, very, very good demo, but I do have one negative. You showed us a cheap way on sanding. That means I can't buy more tools.
Oh, there's always a way to buy more tools, believe me.
Yeah, but if our spouses saw that, they would dip it in the bud a little bit, where we can just make an excuse and say, "Oh, I need an extra sander."
Yeah. You can't have too many sanders either. Sure.
Yep. Okay, Walt.
Too clean.
Walt, it was appreciated from New Zealand too.
Oh, it was.
I didn't know we had anybody from New Zealand. Say again?
Yeah,
Dick
yeah.
Fetch? Is that Dick?
It's midday here.
Oh, hey, Dick.
Hi.
Dick is a New Zealand wood turner. I had the opportunity to be over there last year in the spring, and I did some demos on marbling, and Dick is the marbling expert in New Zealand, how to marble on wood. And so we enjoyed our stay over there very, very much.
Again, Walt, thank you so much for your demonstration tonight, sir. We're
You're
looking
welcome.
to see a couple of those pop up in our gallery.
Thank you, Walt. Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Walt.
And Walt was just speaking about 3408. In a little while, we'll have a demonstration on 3408. And before that, we'll do a few gallery items. But in the meantime, and I'm going to spot this out so we can do this. Right. Here at worldwidewoodturners.org, we have heard from the membership and discussed, or starting to discuss, adding a couple of new features to the meetings. And that would be a turning of the week, and then recognize one of our members for the month, or several of our members. You see, we're going to look at this both ways. We got some input came in tonight, and that's why we're talking about this. The turning of the week. Each week, we will look at all the gallery items that come in, all of them, and all the gallery items that get mailed in by email. And we'll put those on a slideshow without the names. And then the following week, you will see the slideshow of all that gallery, and you'll be able to vote on the piece you choose to be the best novice and the best seasoned turner. There's no rookies and masters here. There's a seasoned turner and a novice turner. And you'll get to pick the one you believe should be the turning of the week. And then we'll present it and tell you who turned it and such. We don't have to be a popularity contest. That's why we're not going to put the names on it. There will be two borders. One say seasoned and one will say novice. And we'll try to work that for a while, see how this works. Remember, input's critical. And we'll do screen captures if you just put it on gallery. But if you choose to send us a photograph, that's absolutely legal, absolutely proper. And it's easier for you to use an actual photograph than modify a screen capture. And that's for the turning of the week. Now, we mentioned member of the month, and we were going to, or we had proposed to select a member of the month based upon your input. And it wouldn't necessarily be the best turner of the month. It would be the person that gave the best input, or did the most, or contributed the most, or participated, or whatever. The person that made a difference in your wood turning would be your member that you would choose. And you put the nominations in, and we will work out, and we're still playing with this, we'll work out the roster on how to tell you what the ballots were and all that. That will happen the first weekend. Trey, she's still there?
Yep, I'm still here. I think I'm muted though, aren't I?
No,
I'm
no,
not.
sir, we hear you.
Yeah,
Right,
I
back
got
up.
you. I got you.
The monthly thing, we would take the nominations or recommendations on the last week and announce them on the first week.
No, I'm thinking take the nominations on the last week, and then we could set up the poll and have it ready to go for the next week, for the first week.
So in the first week, we'll be able to do the polling.
Yeah.
That's a proposal. Okay. And remember, folks, this is a proposal. We're looking to do something to recognize the turner and the member. Because if you don't turn and you just participate, that counts, really does. And we're doing this right now. We cannot award a gift or a prize. We can reward you with recognition, and your work's going to appear on our website, our newsletter, our slideshow, our promos, et cetera, because we want to show people what you're doing and let them know that they can do this also. I really don't like this demonstration say, look what I can do, and it's really great. I'd rather the demonstration say, look what you can do and make it really great. So that's what we're talking about right now, is a turning of the week and a member of the month, and we're open for commentary. We'll take 5 minutes for that, and then we're going to go back to our gallery with Dane, and following the gallery, we're going to go to Kirk Kapp. He's online with us to do a demonstration tonight, and we'll get to that at about 8 o'clock Central Time. So Dane is lined up the gallery, put it in chat if you want to show something. But if you want to chat about these two programs, Turning of the Week and Member of the Month, we'd like to hear from you.
I'd like to say something about Member of the Month.
Go ahead.
I really like the idea of people picking out the person who has given them the most information, or, you know, made a difference in their turn, or even the difference in their life. And we could take all the names on the last meeting of the month, and then the next meeting, put a banner up. We salute those who made a difference in another person's life, and list all the names.
You know, if we contribute, we all should get recognized.
That's a good idea, Susan.
Yes. Nice, Susan. Thank you. Anybody else?
Eddie?
Come on. This is your club
Eddie?
now. We want to hear from you.
I agree with Susan.
Eddie,
Go ahead, Ronnie.
I think that's a good idea because that way you'll hurt nobody's feelings. Because I'm sitting here and what Marty said, we got to remember if there's only 2 people or if there's 4 people, and if one gets picked, 1, 2, or 3 people are gonna feel left out. So what Susan's saying, we can bring everybody to the front at one time.
And we should, because if you contribute this or this, you still contributed to the club. You have. Anybody else? Come on, speak up. It's your club.
What I was kind of getting at. If each person nominated a person for that month that has made a difference to them, and then you read out all of them names, and it's done, because this is the people that have partaked and made a difference this month to the members.
Sure.
You voted for these people. This month there might be 2, next month there might be 22. The month after there might be 2 again, or 5 again. But it just
Great
means
idea.
everybody's involved, and it really worries me, Ronnie, because if you've only got 4 names in that hat, you're segmenting them 4 people that have made a difference this week. And let's say, for example, there's me, there's Ronnie, there's Eddie, and there's Brenda. Well, if I got voted, I would feel I have done no better than Ronnie or Eddie or Brenda. So I'm now feeling bad. Brenda might be thinking, well, what did he do that was different to what I did? You know, it's that kind of, we're all here as a community together, and even the guys that are sitting back that aren't having the input would have the option to have the input by saying, hey, Brenda said this last week, or Brenda said that on week 2, and it really made a difference to my turning. And hopefully some of them guys will come out and start speaking. Why did Brenda make a difference? Why did Eddie make a difference? You know, tell us about it. So hopefully, you know, it would run different.
Great idea.
Yeah, and remember, folks, this is open to commentary from every single member. No clique, no gang, no board. Every single member counts here.
That encourages participation.
Yes.
It does, Jack.
To encourage participation and not competition.
Exactly.
Not a competition.
Yes.
Right.
Which
Yes,
is
it's
what
not
we're
a
about. I mean,
competition.
I'm okay to speak my mind because none of you can get me. I'm far too far away for any of you guys to get me. So if you don't like what I'm saying, tough.
You're behind a locked gate anyway. You done told us you're behind locked gates anyway. We can't get to you.
I could just turn you off.
Don't bet on that. I have international connections.
Well, John said, you know, if people that don't get selected, will they hesitate to do it again? It's not a selection. It's a nomination. It's somebody giving recognition that you made a difference in their turning, no matter how small or how large, how different, design, finish, etc. I picked up things tonight. You picked up things tonight, and you're going to get more. And that's what we want to reward. The people that put it forward. We want to acknowledge them and thank them. And I agree with Ronnie, it's not a contest. And I agree with Martin, we should make it like a Little League baseball team. Everybody gets a ribbon, everybody gets recognized. So, but it's still in consideration. We'll talk more in a little while, but right now we're going to bounce back to Dane for a few minutes. We want to get a little gallery in before we go to Kirk with that CA finish demonstration. Dane?
All right, well, let's go to Alaska. John, yep.
Let's go, John.
This is my first attempt at a segmented bowl. I made it
That's
about
nice.
5 years ago. And it has the center in it that I like, and I can't remember the wood that I used.
Wow.
That's my segmented bowl.
You did great on, you did
I love
great
that
on this.
center.
No, I
You did
love
great
my,
on
yeah, I
this.
like the center a lot.
Yes.
You did great on the seams too. That's one of the key things in segmented turning is not being able to see seams. Sure, you can see
Right.
where they meet, but you don't see a seam in there. There's no gap or anything.
There's no
That's
glue
neat.
line like mine is.
Right, glue line. That's what
Well,
I was
thank
trying
you.
to think of. A glue
Yes.
line.
Yeah, I feel proud that I'm down below that 1/8 inch thick glue line.
Very nice, John.
Oh, thank you.
It looks great.
Thanks.
And see, John did that piece now, and there's no glue joints showing. But remember this, folks, when you cut that, it's your cut material that counts. You cannot rely on the glue or the clamping to make a difference. If you can line up your pieces on a piece of tape, regular painter's tape, and pull the tape together and all those joints disappear, you've got it cut properly. Now, if you put it together and there's little gaps, and you got to put a band clamp on it and pull it down, it's going to explode one day. So keep that in mind. Okay, let's go back to gallery.
All right, let's go to Rich Borchers. Hey, Rich.
Rich, you're on.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
I made this bowl this week. It's red cedar, segmented.
Wow.
Wow.
That's beautiful.
Oh my
nice.
gosh,
That is
a
pretty.
square bottom.
Turn that bottom back up, please.
Look at that.
That looks great, man. Really nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
Sweet.
I'm pretty happy with it. I finished it with that
You
general
should be happy with it.
wood bowl finish.
Yeah, very nice.
Thank you.
That looks wonderful.
That's beautiful.
What's
Thanks
your
for sharing, Rich.
That's all I got.
what's your dimensions on that, Rich?
That it's about 16 inches wide and about 6 inches tall.
Right on. Very nice.
Too
Thank you,
big.
sir.
We got time for one more, Eddie.
Go ahead, sir.
All right, Gary.
Yeah, hi, I'm here.
Go ahead.
Okay. We've had this bottle stopper program, and so I've been making a bunch of bottle stoppers, but I got a small problem. Okay, these are just 5 different bottle stoppers that I've made. Every time I make one that I put circles in the end, I don't think you're
Pull it
going to be
back
able
towards
to see
you.
it.
There you go.
Yeah, I have white when I buff them out on the bale buffing system. I get white in the circles on the bottom or the top, I guess it's called. That would be the top. Anybody got any ideas on how to get the white out of the circles? I've stopped cutting circles in the bottom of the ones that I'm making simply because I can't. I can see the white, and so it's bothersome to me. And
Do you have a
anybody got ideas?
Do you have an old toothbrush laying around?
Yes, I do. Right here, I've tried that, and it doesn't seem to work.
Huh. I put a slight bit of wax on my toothbrush and go at it. But it is embedded in there. That would, myself, I would try a naked buffing wheel. No wax, no product, anything else on it, just a naked buffing wheel.
Gary, I got a question for you.
Sure.
When you're using your BO buffing system, when is the white coming in? On the compound or on the wax?
It's the middle one, the where you use the white,
White diamond.
The
yeah,
white
the white
diamond.
diamond.
Okay.
That's the problem. White diamond on dark wood tends to leave that white residue.
Because it burns it in.
Yeah.
Okay, don't use the white diamond. Okay.
Gary?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
What I'm thinking too, that wheel might be loaded up too much with that white diamond. You might need to take a screwdriver or a blunt piece of wood and clean that wheel off.
Okay, okay, I'll do that too. Okay, thanks. That's all I've got. I just
All right,
was
Gary,
hoping
thank
somebody
you so
would give
much.
me.
I've heard that
Appreciate it.
discussed at AAW, at symposiums, and the demonstrators all there said you should never use the white diamond on walnut or that dark wood like that.
Okay, that's exactly what I did on the walnut. That's where it's prevalent.
Yes,
Okay.
it was a
Nice
general
job, Gary.
consensus that not to use a white diamond on the dark wood.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
And the other goes as well. You don't use the triple E on like maple because it'll leave brown in the pores of that wood.
Yeah. Remember, a naked wheel has got a grit to it. Just a naked wheel.
Yeah.
I clean mine with a sawzall blade, a coarse sawzall blade, just a couple of passes, and it'll tear that stuff out, loosen up those fibers. Even on a naked wheel, you got to loosen it back up because you got stuff collecting on it.
I might have missed it, but what was your finish, Gary?
I just coated it with sanding sealer and then went to the Beal buffing system and went through all three. But like I say, and that, you know, it's prevalent on the walnut. I never thought about that, where I see all the white.
Okay, thank you for sharing information tonight. It's 8 o'clock, folks. You're tuned to worldwidewoodturners.org. We have got one more demonstration lined up. I see Kirk and the bullpen, and he's going to do something with 3408 CA finish tonight, folks. Kirk, are you set, ready to go?
Can you hear me?
Well, you're on the spotlight, and we hear you. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. Well, thanks for letting me have a demonstration. I appreciate that. You want to see just the 3408? I have a little bit of show for the 900 as well, because there's people, I constantly see people posting that they have trouble using CA glue to glue pen tubes in. I have a 7mm tube. It's been drilled out. The wonders of the 900 is because it's so slow, it will allow you to put your glue on, let it spin around, spin it in and out of the tube a couple different times, make sure everything's covered. Once you feel you have everything covered, you can push it in. I use a big fat pencil to push it the rest of the way in.
I was gonna say, you're below the screen, below the camera.
I'm sorry. I gotta move my camera.
There you go. Now we got you.
You're good there.
And then just set it off to the side and let it dry like you would any other pen tube. It just gives you more.
How long does the 900 take to dry?
The 900 is about 50 seconds to dry.
Okay.
So it's going to give you a ton of time to get that part of the job done. I have yet to stick a pen tube myself. I don't do a lot of pens, but it makes it a whole lot easier to use. Now we'll go on to the 3408, which is a very popular one. Super simple finish to use. We'll start out with the simplest thing there is to finish would be a bottle stopper. I'm going to move my camera. I had it zoomed in too far. All right. So this is a bottle stopper. The stopper on this particular one will actually go up inside. You can use just a plain piece of paper towel, or I like to put a piece of polyester felt. on the inside of the paper towel. It's going to act as a little reservoir for you. So I just roll it up in the paper towel, fold it over a little bit. Now I have a reservoir. It's also going to help to keep some of it off of your fingers, make life a little bit easier there. You could put it on by hand without the lathe spinning. If you can spin your lathe at say 300 RPMs or less, would be the easiest way. We're going to soak our paper towel down. We're going to put it on the end because we can't dribble it on the end. This also has dye on those bands, so we want to be a little bit careful on there that we don't press too hard. But we can just dribble it on across the piece, work it in with our paper towel. As you can see, it's pulling some of the black back off, but it's not going to pull, it shouldn't pull enough of it off that it will cause you any real major problems. You got to put it on, it's saturated to piece. We can take the same paper towel and clean our tip of our glue bottle off because we have 40 seconds to get the job done. So there's no real big hurry. The wood needs to be dry to use the product. So we can stop it at that point and look over things and make sure we don't have any places that are super dry looking. If we do, we'll just go back over it some more. Took a dry paper towel. As you can see, I'm still pulling some of the black off, which is okay. It's sitting on the surface right there. So I'm going to wipe the whole thing down with the dry paper towel.
How many seconds do you say you had to do that?
Yeah, 40 seconds time.
Okay.
Or more. As long as you keep it plenty wet, it does not set up on you. When it starts to set up, you'll feel your paper towel dragging, which at that point you need to get the excess off, because all you want is what's below the surface. I'm going to go back 18 to 24 inches if you want to use accelerator. If you don't want to use accelerator, you don't need to. You can just come back in 2 or 3 minutes and it will be set up. But in this case, we're going to use 1 or 2 squirts of accelerator at a distance. Don't spray your accelerator up close and personal, like you see a lot of people do. So that's one bottle stopper done. I have several things for you to see. We're going to start out with the simplest, and then we'll come back and buff them all at one time. I have a no hat. Once again, it's colored. The dyes I use is the chestnut spirit stains, which are alcohol based. The only thing with the chestnut products is they have a little bit of shellac in them as a binder, which can cause you a problem with CA glues because CA doesn't necessarily play well with the shellac. It seals the wood a little bit too much. So what I do to get around that, this piece, once it was all dyed, I will go back with some denatured alcohol. Well, it's still sort of wet, and I will rub it down with the denatured alcohol and make sure that I have a dull surface when I'm done. That way all the shellac is gone. But we're basically going to rinse and repeat the same process I just did. This time you got to be a little bit more careful because of the reds and the greens. So we can hit the red a little bit. You can flip my paper towel around so that I don't spread the red out. We'll go back and we'll hit the green, and we're putting plenty on. Don't be shy with it. You want it to soak into the wood. Once again, it's totally saturated. We're going to give it 30 seconds or so to soak in, and you will start to see it actually dry out on its own. Actually, we could have used a little bit more here on the end grain because it got dry. So I'm going to go back over that little bit of end grain right there and make sure it's totally covered and sealed. Once again, I'm going to stop and I'm going to wipe off the excess. As you can see, I'm using the entire length of the paper towel so that I don't spread the colors from one to the other, because the CA does reactivate the dye, as you can see by the paper towel. So once again, we're gonna make it dry. We're gonna wipe off the excess. Because you don't want any of it to sit on the surface. It will not dry smooth that way. You want what's soaked into the wood, which is a lot. As you see how much I put on, that's all the more I got back off. So it does a really nice job, a very simple job on a lot of things. So that's our piece number 2 ready to go. Now we'll move over to a bowl, which everybody understands that you can do it on something small. But it's when you get to something a little bit more of size that people get really nervous.
Got a quick question.
Fire away.
What kind of size were you using that would come off on the CA? Why didn't you seal the color first?
Run that by me again.
Why did you not seal the color on, before applying the CA glue, put a sealer over it?
Because if you put a sealer over it, the CA will not soak in. If I was to put a coat of, say, shellac, would be the sanding sealer I would use on things, the shellac will not stick to it. Or the CA, what you're after is the CA to penetrate in the piece of wood. So doing the dyed pieces can be a little bit tricky, especially if you have multiple colors. But it's not really that big of a deal because you're not going to sit there and rub them back and forth so that they bleed into one another. I mean, it does reactivate it, but it doesn't reactivate it to the point of what it would have been when you first started to use it. So from there, we can go onto a bowl. This is a piece of red maple. It does have a little bit of figure to it. It's a natural edge. So we can't spin the natural edge unless you're really, I guess if you were really super brave and didn't like your fingers very well. All I'm going to do with that is basically put it on a jam chuck and move my camera back just there. Get the whole view. And I've made my little pad again with a piece of polyester felt inside. We're going to take our 3408. We're going to saturate our pad. And like I say, don't be shy. We're going to find the end grain and we're going to rub it in. As you can see on the end grain, it totally disappears in a flash. So we're going to go the whole way around the bowl. I normally start on the outside of the bowl, but you can start wherever you want. I do the outside first. I forgot to put I normally put a piece of wax paper on the inside on that jam chuck. This bowl is not very thin and it's maple, so it's not very porous. If you do this with a more porous piece of wood, like a piece of walnut or something like that, and you get down to that 1/4 inch category or less, it may bleed through to the other side.
Well, that's got to be fun.
It is, because that little blue pad that I use there, that's on there, it's just a real thin foam. But the piece I did, like I say, you learn by mistakes. Well, I did a little piece of walnut crotch, and it was at 1/4 inch, and it went straight through. By the time I sprayed the little accelerator on it and went to spin it around, it sucked the little pieces of blue padding right off, right into the wood, because it sucked it in as it dried. So then we had little blue specks all over it, which pretty much just about ruined the piece because it pulled it in enough that I couldn't sand it back out. If we went around this, if you're watching your clock, I'm probably getting real close to the 40 seconds now. It's starting to, there'll be places you won't be able to see it, but I can see it starting to bead up certain places. I'm going to make sure I got around my edge where the natural edge part is. because it has not been glued at all up there. Once again, I clean my tip off. Grab a dry paper towel. Take my dry paper towel and I'm going to rub it in circles. Make sure I get everything covered and saturated. Now I'm drying it off. As you can see, maybe it's easier with the dye. It shows how much I'm pulling off because I'm not pulling very much of it back off. But there is always a certain amount that wants to sit on the surface, which you need to get off of there. This is a one coat application and one coat only. If you get the bright idea to say, I want more shine or I want more protection, and go back over this a second time with the same product, it will not cooperate at all. It will sit on the surface and dry like a very well waxed car. And then you will have to sand all them little bubbles off. If you wanted a super high gloss shine, a plastic look shine, then you would go to the 3460, which is a little bit thicker. It's still very thin, but it's thick enough that it will allow you to do things like pens and things of that nature. For this demonstration, we're going to hit it with accelerator. Normally, when I do this on my own, I usually don't even use any accelerator. I just walk away for a couple minutes and come back. But I want to be able to grab a hold of this and touch it. It's not sticky to your fingers at this point. And I have dropped one into the sawdust that's normally at my feet. And believe it or not, all I did was take a paper towel and wiped it off because it's not sticky enough at that point that the sawdust didn't stick to it. So now we can go do the inside. We're going to do the inside the same way. Get another little piece of felt. Make another little pad. And we'll go ahead and do the inside.
Kirk, I'll interrupt you 1 second, sir. We are going to do some voting on some propositions that came up today. And right now, the voting option on the screen is not responding. So members, stick with us. We will get it repaired and go back to it. Kirk, pardon the interruption.
That's fine.
Eddie, I accidentally popped it off and I turned it off. That was an accidental thing. I'm not counting that vote.
Okay. Go ahead. Kirk, go ahead, please.
Okay, so we can go to the inside. I don't have my camera right where it should be. So if we go to the inside, we're basically going to rinse and repeat. We're going to do the inside. We're going to try and hit the end grain first because it's going to soak the most amount in. The inside will take less material to get it to saturation point because the outside is sealed. There's no air going to be able to come through to suck the material in. So we're going to go around our little circles. We're going to soak it in. You see I didn't get it dusted off real well. It's not a big deal. It's not going to hurt you because it's going to constantly pull more dust and dirt out of the grain anyhow. These pieces have been sanded through 400 grit paper, and then I do the 800 grit random orbit. I think you'll find if Mark Soleil has ever done any demonstrations for you, he talks a lot about that, using the 800 in a random orbit. It does work extremely well, I think. If you forget it, you'll find out you forgot it because it'll show up, especially if you dye something. It will show every line, every radial line that you have in the piece. So there's our inside of our bowl cleaned up, or finished up. Same deal. We're going to take our paper towel. We're going to dry off the excess. The whole time you're drying off the excess, you're moving some around in case there's a place that's a little light on the finish. That's it. If you want to go back and do the natural edge, you almost need to use a little bit of a brush or a little dabbing motion. You gotta watch there because you definitely don't want to use something that's going to leave any lint behind. But a normal paper towel usually will work very, very well for you. There's where I started. You can see the difference in the color. Like I say, there's not a whole lot of material comes back off of it. You can hit that with just a little bit of accelerator. Get the bottle of glue out of the line of fire, of course, as it will set it up in the bottle.
You only do that one time, Kirk.
Yeah. So there's our inside finished. I missed some on the bottom, or else it's some accelerator. I do have a couple little lumps and bumps in the bottom. I'm gonna let that set up while I do the two last things with it. And then I'll come back and I'll show you that it's very easy to sand off. It will clog up sandpaper because it's plastic. It is liquid plastic. The last one we have, we're just going to do the inside of it. And it should tell me, it should show us. This is a piece of sycamore. It's about 1/8 of an inch thick. It also has a crack up here. That it should seal the crack to go with it. But more importantly, when I go putting this on, it probably will come out the other side. It may make a liar out of me, but it usually does whenever you're trying to do something and show somebody that it can do it, then it won't. It is not thin. It is not that thin down here where the chuck is at. That is the other thing you have to be concerned about, is sticking things fast with the product. Because since it's set so slow and it's so thin, it has a chance to go in places you can't even imagine. Vacuum chuck on using this to put it on is out of the question. It would go right straight. If you pulled a vacuum on a piece, I guarantee you it will come right out the other side and it'll be stuck fast to your vacuum chuck. Which then you got a real problem, depending on what for vacuum chuck. I have a friend of mine that told me that experience, and he lived it firsthand. He got the bright idea because he does a lot of calabash bowls. So that's his easiest way of getting a hold of things, to do things on it. So yeah, it went right straight through. Grabbed a hold of the vacuum chuck. He was fortunate enough to get it off before the glue had a chance to set up and dry. But nonetheless, it went right straight through. And this is not a good day. Not a good day. And like I say, I had that with the jam chuck. I never really gave it a thought, because it was, yeah, it's not like this. It wasn't 1/8 of an inch thick, but it found a place where the end grain went straight through, which it's going straight through on this piece right here. You see the dark little spots there? That's end grain. There's dark spots appearing down there. There's dark spots appearing up there. If you do really thin bowls and you want to finish it with this, pick a side, and I would pick the inside to do first, like I'm doing here, because those little spots may end up as little bumps. So it's a little easier to sand those little bumps off on the outside. And just do one side at a time and let it set up. Give it a half an hour or something like that to set up. So that if you can run your finger over them and you can feel them, just go back with just a little bit of 800 grit paper and lightly sand all those little bumps off, and then you'll be fine. Then everything should be sealed on the inside. Same way with our crack that we had on the inside. It's thin enough and slow enough. It actually has filled that crack in and should repair that crack. It should keep that crack together. Put it that way. Once again, we're going to wipe off the excess. which there won't be much on that one because when the thinner you go, the faster it absorbs in. And there again, depending on the wood, I mean, sycamore is very porous. So even if I take my paper towel and rub over that, you can see it's spreading it out because there's little bumps of that sticking up. Or maybe you can see it. Like I say, that at that point, I will let that set up, completely set up. The total cure time on this stuff is 24 hours. That means in 24 hours from now, it's going to be as hard as it'll ever be. At that point, if I'm not doing this in this type of setting, I will put this stuff on and I will wait till tomorrow or the next day or the day after, whenever I get back to it, to buff it. You will get a little bit better shine out of it when you do it that way. Well, we're not going to buff that one, so I'm not even going to bother with it. One other thing that I have to show you. Everybody has things that crack. Actually, today I didn't actually have, I couldn't find anything that actually had a crack in it. But I have this bowl, it's a calabash bowl. I've taken a piece of painter's tape, which hopefully will be secure enough to hold it, because these, where this knot cracked, it went the whole way through. And if you can see it on the camera, there's like a dark ring out around here. That's actually shellac. I put a little bit of shellac because this thing has not been sanded. Normally when you run into cracks, the piece hasn't even been turned a second time. So it doesn't really matter if you get some out over anywhere. But I'm going to switch to the next level up in thickness. And we went from 5 centipoids to 45 centipoids. This is a 3460. This is what most of the pen turners would use to finish pens with. What I have in my trusty little cup is a little bit of mica powder. I do some casting, so I have a wide range of it. You can get mica powder, Hobby Lobby, and all them places in little amounts. This is one of the things that the CA companies are kind of lacking in. Of course, I don't know if you could get it. I haven't tried it with any of the fast setting stuff, but there again, at the 3460, we're talking about 50 seconds worth of time delay. So I'm going to put a nice generous amount in there. And I'm going to mix it around, mix up the mica powder in it. Like I said, we got 50 seconds to get this done, so there's no real big hurry. So now we have a lovely purple shade. And we can go over here, especially with these little paper Dixie cups, we can get that down to a tiny little spot. Now, first things first. Accelerator and filling your cracks. Spray it first. There I will spray it fairly up close and personal. I want the accelerator to go down in that crack. I can wipe off what little bit I had on the surface, but I want this to cure from the bottom up rather than the top down. And it will. It may or may not show us on the camera, but when you do this otherwise, give it a nice big puddle up there, see if we can show it. Usually when it starts to set up, depending on what color it is, you'll actually see this thing here like churning like butter because it's getting hot. But it's already setting up. If we wanted to, we could wipe off the excess, because that will definitely clog up a piece of sandpaper in a hurry. That should have filled up our hole, our complete hole. Actually looks like there's a little bit of a pothole in there that didn't fill up. We have a little bit left. We can get it in there. This is a pretty big, this is fairly wide crack to fill with CA, but it can be done. If you're worried about it, then you could actually go back and hit the top with the accelerator so that it skims over. And if we did everything fairly right, it should have came through the bottom. And that should be, no, it's not totally set up at this point. I could have left the tape on a little bit longer.
would you recommend squirting it with the accelerator from the bottom of the hole prior to dumping in the CA on the crack on top?
I could have, but I won't guarantee you that the problem there is that the tape might not stick to it, which would be a bigger problem than say like there, if that's not suitable at that point, then we could go back and fill a little bit from the bottom, and it's going to do the same thing for us, and it should be totally filled. The CA glue is nothing more than liquid plastic, so it is a little hard on sandpaper as far as to sand it off, but the end result is to me, it's just too easy compared to your typical finishes that you're going to have to put 3 or 4 coats on, try and keep everything nice and neat and dry. Got one more little piece to put CA on, and then we'll go on to buffing. I don't want to keep you guys too
We're gonna run out of time here in a few moments, sir.
okay. Well, I won't do the last piece. We'll just go to buffing. Thread this back on there so I don't send it flying. Got out of there.
If it goes flying, we can make you part of the Birdwood Club.
What's that?
If it goes flying, we can put you in the Birdwood Club.
Yeah. I'm going to use a Beal buffing system. I'm going to use Vonax and carnauba wax on the stuff. First will be the Vonax. We got to put our drawbar in. Do not do this without the drawbar. It can have very unwelcome results if you do. You find a buffing wheel flying across the floor. Buffing speed is 1700 RPMs for the Vonax. As you were talking with the guy before, I normally, as you can see, this has a little bit of a goldish color to it. That's the Vonax from the last time buffing. I just take a piece of 120 grit paper and I clean it off. You get all the gunk off, and now it's back to being white. I will put my face shield on it for this because it throws all the little furry things at you, and then we'll give it a buff. At this point, we're certainly not going to press real hard because the CA is not totally set up. It won't be set up for 24 hours. It won't be hard for 24 hours. I won't say shut up, but if you're in a hurry, like we are right here, we're going to hit it with the buffing wheel. A little bit goes a long way. Like the gentleman was talking about the white diamond. You put too much of it on, like this has burned, those lines are burning with the pyrography pen. So I don't really want to fill them up with buffing compound. I leave it on the mandrel because it's easier to hold on to. Go in multiple directions. That way we don't introduce any more lines. This particular bottle stopper has not been finished on the inside, so I will have to do that at a later date. They just made this one this afternoon. That's pretty much all there is to it as far as that goes. We will put a coat of carnauba wax over top of that yet. But while we're at it, we'll go back and hit this. We'll just hit the outside of this one bowl. The bowls are probably easier to do than the small piece. Okay. And keep our directions going in multiple directions. So get the whole way around the bowl. A little bit careful around your natural edge. Not difficult. Careful to work off. Pushing very hard on it, especially at this point, because I don't want to pull up the edge to the surface. Get impatient, say, oh, it's dry enough, and you want here and really rip into it with a bucking wheel. The heat can pull the glue that's sitting below the surface, not cured. It can pull right back to the surface. Then you'll have a little bump. It's hard to tell whether I have the whole way around. So we're going to call that the whole way around for this purpose. So then we'll go to our carnauba wax. We'll drop our speed back to around 900 RPM. You don't want to put carnauba wax on at a high rate of speed. It will leave you streaks because it will melt it. Believe me, take it from me. You melt carnauba wax on a piece with your buffing, it's incredibly hard to get it off. You almost have to use a cabinet scraper or something along those lines to get it back off. You literally scrape it off. Carnauba wax, as you very well know, is very, very hard.
Kirk, I got about 2 minutes left before we got to continue with the business.
Okay, that's fine. We'll just stop right there. So there's our bowl, the bottom of our bowl finished. We would do the same thing on the inside. On the inside, if you're doing non-natural edge bowls, you can use the sanding abrasives, the microfine sanding abrasives, and do the inside rather than buff the inside. The inside of them are a little bit more complicated to do. You have to use them small balls and that, but yeah, it's not bad. It's pretty easy.
Very nice. Very nice.
You know, you figure it this way that, you know, that bowl is going to have at tops a half an hour to finish it, ready to put on the shelf to do whatever you do with them, sell them, give them away or whatever.
All right.
That's about it.
Again, Kirk, we wish to thank you. And sir, I wish you understand. I hope you understand that we weren't being rude in the beginning, but we'd like to have your contact information in chat. That's chat is an open field. So we have some questions that folks want to ask you, and they'll be upfront and personal with you.
Right.
And they have details like to have. So if you put your information, your contact details, perhaps your phone number, your website in our chat, it'd be very much appreciated.
My website's already on your resources page.
And it's now been added to the chat, Eddie.
Now it's in the chat. Okay, great.
It's in the chat there. So the link's in the chat to the website.
I see Gerald threw it in there. Again, okay. Kirk, thank you so much, sir. Appreciate your input tonight.
Thank you.
All right. I may need to explain a little something of what just occurred. When this operation was formed, there was an agreement we would not do commercials. And Kirk may not have known that, but like we've talked to several turners and folks who do pay-per-views and such. We allow you to put that in chat. That's okay to go in chat. I don't want to be known as the Bentley show of tools or the magnificent finish company or whatever. That's not what we're looking for, and that's not what we really wanted. And also, I can see some counters coming as to, you know, I can do this and I can do that, but I can do, you know, and this is your program to counter. If you've got a better way, a new way, a different way, or whatever you want to do, please let us know. We're here just for that. Now, I'm going to continue on with this program because Trace is getting something ready for us right now. We are discussing having two different programs in this meeting. One would be turning of the week. And the other would be member of the month or recognition of the month. We're still working on both of those because the whole thing's got to evolve. It's got to evolve in some fairness. We want all the members to understand this is open to every single member, every turner, every person that participates. If you participate in this group, you are making this group better, and we're growing, and we're seeing art, and we're seeing, you get ideas. I mean, how many, you got ideas from everything you've seen tonight? Good ideas, bad ideas, whatever, but you get ideas, and that's the flow of information. So here's the deal. Turning of the week, we will collect all the screen captures and such from the gallery. If this is allowable by you, we would catch the screen captures from the gallery, or you can send us a photograph. Now, you see how the poll is coming up right now?
Oh, that's an error. I'm trying to get rid of it and do something else.
Okay, so pay no attention to that man in the corner. All right, if the turning of the week, we will select it from the screen captures or you sending in photographs for the website, the promos, the YouTube, whatever. If you send us that stuff, we will collect those photographs. And then at the beginning of the program, somewhere, we'll pick a time, we will do a video slideshow of the pieces, and each one will have a number. Each will have a number. Our goal is to not pit the novice turners against the seasoned turners. I don't want to say rookies and pros. That's wrong. Masters and unmasters. No, it's novice turners against seasoned turners. And they're really not against each other. We will pick the best novice turner, or you will pick the best novice turner and the best seasoned turner through this gallery.
No, Eddie, it's not Turner, it's turning.
Turning, I'm sorry, I keep saying that. I'm looking
It's not a
word.
person, it's a piece of work.
Yeah, it's the piece of work. That's why there will be no names. It's not a popularity contest. It is an exhibition of the wood turning that you see on this program. You can pick the best, and those we will be able to announce who has got the best turning of the week. Now that's one part.
Okay, let's go ahead and vote on that and take care of that one.
We ready for it right now?
You should have it.
You get a single choice vote, folks. That's what you're looking at. 66 people can participate in this at this time. The co-host, you can't participate, so don't worry about it. We already put your vote in. But if you will vote, this is the acceptance of our program. Now, remember, the program is not locked in stone.
Somebody killed the poll.
Somebody killed the poll?
Yeah, somebody killed the poll. Poll should have continued. Because I've already got the poll that says share results, and it's 19 people voted.
Okay.
Can you put it back up?
Yeah, I can repost it. When I repost it, everybody have to revote, but I don't know whether a co-host did something that did that or not.
Okay, co-host, don't touch it. If you hit share results, it stops.
Yeah, okay. I just relaunched the poll and you have to revote.
I'm not clear what I'm voting for.
You're voting whether we turning of the week.
If we continue with this program.
Thank you.
As I started to say a moment ago, this is not locked in stone. If we wish to alter the program, the parameters, anything else, we can do that because it's your club. I keep saying this each time, and Ronnie said earlier, there's no clique, there's no inner circle. We're one big circle of turners, and every one of us makes up the wheel, and that's why we're doing this. I want to know what you feel and how you feel about doing this program. of the 47 or 48 people that we have that have voted, really 70 folks can participate right now. And will you please vote one way or the other? Now, while you're voting, I'm going to continue on to the next part of this. Now, don't forget your voting. All right. We want to do member of the month recognition, and we'll fine tune that as we go along, because first we need to know if you'll accept something like this. We want to recognize those who have made a significant input to the organization each month. And we fine tune this, we will be able to tell you to nominate them on a particular date, which is probably the last meeting of the month. And then on the first meeting in the month, we will tell you what we have received. If we make it by popular vote or whatever, popular ballot, that's all to be decided. Right now, we want to know, do you want us to put this in the program? Let's cut to the bottom line. It's a way for us to show our appreciation for those who participate in this organization. And that's what we want to do. We want to see, we want to thank those folks who make a part of it. And that includes the people that give us tips and hints, like tonight. We had guys tell us about making a little doodly hook with, I don't do names, don't, pardon me, but to do ornaments. We just saw a scraper go in and save a lot of sanding. We saw something on CA finishes. We continually see these things through our meetings, and we need to recognize those who have provided this input, turners and non-turners, just the folks that provided this input, so that we can say, this is a people that make a difference, and you can be one of those people. There's no limits. There's no restrictions, no membership, no fee, nothing else. And really, if Ronnie calls you and asks you for a sandwich, he's not trying to buy you a vote or get on your good side. But it's a great, I think it's a great program, but guess what? We won't know until you vote this evening. Now, this is, the first question was the turning of the week. And that's each week, continues. And there's no award, there's no prizes, there's recognition for your fantastic work. So we're running that ballot right now. And
Well, I have ended it, and I posted the results up there.
okay,
We have 82% said yes, and
All right.
18% said no. So the yes have it. We had 77% of the people participate, and that may be some co-hosts that didn't because something messed up on those. But so that passes.
okay, co-host, y'all want to vote? You want to change anything? Send it on in. We'll count it. Because remember, it's your club.
It won't make any difference. It's too overwhelming the other way. So yes.
Hey, this is Louisiana. We can buy more votes.
Okay.
Vote.
You can vote. You just cannot say share. Because what was happening? Somebody shut the voting down when they did it.
So, co-host,
So do you have to show proof of ID to vote?
Let's
Oh,
not
we got
get
you.
let's not get into that, okay?
What the yays have it.
Well, I'm in California and I want to recall.
Can Canadians vote in a US election?
Yeah. All right, now you're getting political. Let's be careful here.
Hey, we have people from the UK voting in that election.
Yeah, you did.
You know what?
Canadians.
Y'all take mail-in votes.
That's the first time we
I
heard.
got,
from
I got a
down
couple
south.
big relatives. Can I have their votes?
All right,
Mail
Chad.
in only from Chicago.
I think there were some chat votes in there, if I'm not mistaken.
Check for rice paper.
All right, we're getting off course here. We have
Better check
another
for the
ballot
hanging
to look
Chad
at.
there.
We have another ballot coming up in a moment.
Okay.
This ballot is for the
Okay.
member of the month.
Okay, what I've done on this ballot, I actually wrote the ballot while we were in the meeting. The first selection is recognize all members that made a difference. Not individual, not a single member being appointed as the member of the month, but all members that made a difference. The second item says vote on one member of the month. So that would say that we vote on it and we have one member of the month. The last option is none of the above and you don't want to do it. So I'm gonna go ahead and post this. Okay.
We're trying to be fair to you folks. This is an open organization, and your vote counts. If you want to recognize all members that made a difference, vote there. If you want to pick a member of the month, vote there. If you don't want to do any of this, vote there. And this is all honest. It's not an ego builder. It's a thank you. I see Cade's in tonight, but he doesn't have cash in hand, so must be past his bedtime.
Well, can
Yeah,
Cash
he's not in now. Hey,
Well,
everyone.
go wake him up? Cash can vote.
Well, if you don't have cash, if you don't have cash, we'll take plastic.
Nothing sacred in this club, really.
I would like to go on the campaign trail here for a moment and say that I really need us to vote for Turner of the Week, because otherwise I don't know how I'm ever going to get into the Turner's Hall of Fame. And I'm thinking about myself here.
Do you have your presentation speech ready?
Doug, you're always Turner of the Week.
I would love to thank all of you who have sent glue my way. It has really reduced the amount of brain cells left in my brain.
But you're getting better looking.
I love me like no one else.
Okay, we're gonna close out this. We're gonna close out this ballot in about 1 minute.
Yep. Well, I'll go ahead and close it out. Now, we've had 88% of people participate, so I think we're
Okay.
good. I just ended it and share the results. There we are.
64%.
Yep.
Now, it is your organization. I'm gonna keep saying it over and over again. We can modify this anytime we want. It's not cast in stone. It's cast in what you want to happen. We're going to give this a whirl. We're going to put something together and present it next week. And hopefully it's what you like. If not, hey, we'll change it again. But it's all us. We're all getting together to change this and make it up. We need to start recognizing some of these things. I mean,
And
last
Eddie,
week,
I decided I really like this poll. I've got it blocks your head out. I don't have to watch your head speaking.
Hey, I used to live in Arizona. I want to recount.
So it's not cast in stone, just in resin. That way it can be remodified, redesigned.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
For those of you in Arizona, I'll get my ninja suit on so I can recount the votes.
Okay.
Hey Doug, I got a question for you.
Sure.
Have you got a dance ready for us?
I can always dance. It is not a problem.
No,
And,
let's correct that. You can always try to dance.
But do we want to see you dance? That's the question.
No, the answer is no.
I might get offered more money to not dance.
Hey, Doug.
I think we
Yeah.
kind of got off track here.
Let's hear an Air Force cadence.
An Air Force cadence.
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't
Army,
think
so
there
when-
is such a thing.
Does the Air Force even march?
That's what I was wondering.
Not if the buses are running. Nope.
Only in basic. They only march in basic. Once you get out of basic, it's all over with. It's civilian life.
Yeah, well, I went to advanced school up 2 or 3 times because I just couldn't advance. And at one of them, the guy said, we'll march in order to go from this place to this place. There was no marching order. I was late every day. That would seem like such a terrible waste of time.
Eddie, can I ask a real technical question for a moment?
Go ahead, Dick.
I've got a 5 by 5 by 5 cube of black walnut, and I want to make a cup. What's the best orientation of the grain relative to the bed waves?
Okay, cup turners, let's hear it. I would go end grain for the cup because it's much
Same
more
here.
attractive.
I'm thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Just make sure you seal the end
Me
grain
too.
really good.
End
Grain.
grain.
Yeah, I go in grain.
I've made a lot of cups. I'd go in grain.
Now remember, if you do a Forstner cut, it generates some heat and that might not like that heat. And the same thing when you're shaping the inside, we're talking razor sharp. And that sharpening is, that's a scraper with a burr. You have to remove the material gently. If you horse it out, you're gonna have pieces on the floor.
Thank you.
My opinion.
Horse it out, you got birdwood.
Yeah. All right. Brent says end grain. Doug Billis says good night. Oh, he was saying good night to Martin Clarkson, who rigged our ballots tonight. Oh, remember, we had some UK guy vote, and then it was New Zealand, Australia, Peru, Canada is in this. Hey, we go worldwide. We go worldwide. Anybody else with the comments tonight? Let's go. We got 3 minutes. 3 minutes. We'll pull the plug. Don't be quiet. Come on.
Mark out what's allowed.
Put everybody on the spot right now.
I got another question for Doug Rowe.
I'm here for you.
Hey, on Facebook earlier today, that what you posted this morning with the finish that you talked to Dane Chandler about.
Yeah.
Dennis Whitted asked for the formula. Did you
Yeah.
back with him on that?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, and so what Brenda's talking about, Dane helped me out doing a finish on a Purple Heart bowl last night, end grain, and so he suggested I wet sand it up to 400 grit with boiled linseed oil, then do a CA finish over that, and then hit it one more time wet sanding with a 2000 grit, and it worked out really, really great. And if you're friends with me on Facebook, you can go on there and see the bowl. That's what we're talking about.
It'll be on our website and our newsletter.
Okay.
That's what we do with these photographs, folks. We share them with everybody. And remember this, and it's on our website. I mean, on our Facebook page. If you post our Facebook page, we have the freedom to post that photograph on our website, newsletter, and other items. We will give you due credit if you take credit for it, but be careful about posting somebody else's work. You posted, it's your sandwich. Okay, what else tonight? Come on. We got 1 minute left.
Real
You
quick,
don't want me to dance. We can get Doug to dance.
preview
Hey,
of-
dig those. I love
Oh,
those.
please, no.
I'll be doing these on October 6th as a demonstration for you guys, so. Christmas is
will?
coming.
Is that the seashells?
No, these aren't seashells. This is actually bark. That's a natural edge ornament.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That's cool. I like
We have
that.
you,
Really?
we have you signed
This
up.
one here's got milk paint on it, and then I kind of rubbed some of it off to give it a more antique-y looking feel to it. And this
They
one
look
is
great.
red cedar with a maple globe. So,
Nice.
Those finials.
You're gonna do this on October 6th?
yes, I'm already scheduled for you guys. Dave's
Great.
got-
Just so you know, that's my birthday.
Oh, I
I'll
hope
be-
you're there.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Are you
Hey,
gonna be
it's
drunk
7
at night, Eddie?
I don't drink anymore. It was drink, heart attack. Don't drink, no heart attacks. I kind of went the no drink side. But it'll be the 73rd anniversary of my birth. Yeah, I'm only 72, but my daddy partied on that first day like you won't believe. All right, I see a lot of comments tonight. It's in the chat, just like I'm doing right this moment. Go over and save the chat. It's got all the information from the demonstrators tonight. It's got questions and answers about things that came up on the program. And it is all put together by you, the wood turner. And we really want more involvement. That's why we started a program for that. The goal is to get more people involved and thank those who are involved, because there's a lot happening here. And I want it to be more about you, please. All right, with that, it's 9 o'clock. We've been here some 3.5 hours and we've been talking wood turning. I had a blast. If you didn't come away with anything, I did. And I hope to see you back here next week. We start a little bit before 6 o'clock on Wednesday evenings, and you're invited. Access, click us on the website. For that, good night, John Boy.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night,
Good night, Dick.
everybody.
Good night.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Guys have a
Night,
safe
y'all.
week.
How are you there, Cade?
Night, everyone.